Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show.
And we're back.
Hey, and we're back. And I think I just did the intro and everything right. After having a week off, I thought to myself, am I going to remember what to do, what buttons to push? But I think by some miracle, by some massive miracle, I managed to hit everything in the right order. So I'm just going to give myself another round of applause there. What a Monty. You did it! You can finally do this YouTube thing. It's only taken 3 years, but there we go. Good evening, everyone. It is us back. We're back after a week off to bring you another Star Trek The Next Generation episode. We'll be consigning to our vault this evening. So I hope you didn't miss us too much last week on our week off. But I think Tavikins had to put herself through some kind of therapy. But she's out of it now. She's out the other side. And we're back.
Trauma.
Trauma. Yeah.
Do we have a song for
damage.
Smiler?
Sorry?
Yes,
do we have a
it's
song for
early.
Smiler?
Shuttlecraft in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Look at that. It's in our pet. A smiler rainbow.
Hey.
I can walk anywhere.
Yay, Smiler Rainbow is in the building. She's whooping. I can hear her whooping from the other side of that building. Yes. Good evening to my co-hosts, Mazima Bob, Tavikins Turner, and Chief Sean. How are you this evening? You will notice
Yes.
I'm sporting a Deep Space Nine baseball hat. courtesy of Chief Sean.
Niners!
Niners. Yeah, Sean bought me a baseball cap for my birthday. I was very pleased. It fits beautifully, so it's about the best fitted baseball cap I've got.
Yes, I also have a fat head, so I know exactly what you mean. It's but it's comfortable enough.
Chewy's a little bit clingy this evening. I know. I'm on the YouTubes. I'm on the internet.
Aww.
No, I know.
Adorbs.
Yes. I don't. Anyway, so yes.
While you're getting some lift,
I am getting some.
I was going to ask everybody what they're drinking tonight. I have something new. It's called a Verdeco. It's a Spanish white.
That's
so
different.
Interesting. This was given to me by my good friend Cal, who came around for dinner on Saturday night, but I didn't get a chance to drink it at the time, so I'm trying it tonight.
I've got Coach Rome, the Aldi version.
Cote Rome? Nice. What's that? Orange?
I've got
And
orange
you've got,
soda,
19
but of
crimes.
course for the evening
19
I got
crimes.
my Lady Earl Grey tea hot.
Lady Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Very nice, very nice.
Tavi, pick one or two.
Two.
What are two?
And drinking wine. It's never beer, is it? Always wine.
Drinking wine.
Drinking
That's
wine.
Lister from Red Dwarf.
Wine, please.
Oh no, Sean's got sound effects.
I have a new toy.
He has a new toy.
When I was fixing my laptop, I fixed my laptop from 2 weeks ago. I figured out how to do sound clips.
What could possibly go wrong with that? Oh dear. Good evening to everyone in live chat. Good evening to Mr. Tavikins, the beard. Good evening to you, sir. My beard's coming along since I last chopped it off. It's starting to get ample now. Good evening to
Big and white and fluffy in time for Christmas.
It is. I'm just getting that Santa Claus look in right now. Yep, bringing it in for Christmas. Good evening to Ruth. I hope you're well. And good evening to Stuplum, who is on the homebrew beer. He's got the IPA out this evening. And of course, good evening to Smiler Rainbow, my ever-loving wrench. I hope you're all well out there in Star Trek Next Generation world. Massimo Bob, how are you this week?
I'm good. I'm reveling in working part-time at the moment and so I'm working 4 days a week, and on my 3 days a week off, I've been doing a lot of DIY and buying new furniture from the house and giving it all a bit of a makeover. So that's all quite exciting.
That is exciting. That's very nice. Tavikins, how have you been?
Really good. Everyone's healthier from last week. I've been binging DS9 to deal with the trauma you have bestowed on me because there's no one in Norway who does TNG therapy. And I'm enjoying it. I'm very happy. I've been also enjoying a podcast, Women at Warp, and getting the graphic novel further along and some software that's going to also help me draw it faster.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Nice. And Sean, how are you?
Well, thanks. I'm off this week, but I still have kind of post-COVID fatigue, so I had big plans of doing a lot of things, but I haven't done a whole lot of anything because as soon as I stopped working, I realized I was more tired than I thought I was, so I've been sleeping in the last few days. But look, that's life.
To have a break and a rest.
Yeah. Oh, it's well needed. So I'm glad for the rest, and I'm glad to be kind of catching up my sleep.
Well, I'm glad you're rested, so that's good. Last weekend, I took the lovely Smiler Rainbow away to Portsmouth the weekend, and we had a look around the historic docks and visited HMS Victory and some of the other ships there, which was very nice. And we had a lovely weekend in Portsmouth. So that was the highlight of our week. Okay, so let's get on with the episode then. This week we are consigning to the vault lessons. Have you learnt your lesson? It's episode 19 of season 6 of TNG, production number 40276-245. It first aired in the US on the 5th of April 1993. It was the 144th episode to be both produced and released, and was written by Ron Wilkinson and Jean-Louise Matthias. This was their third of 4 episodes that they co-wrote together. The last 2 were Imaginary Friend and Schisms, and the last one will be Lower Decks. It was directed by Robert Weimer, sorry. And this was his 5th of 8 episodes that he directed for TNG. Did I miss anything with those things, Mazam Bob?
No, just that the beginnings of the story occurred to Michael Piller in a meeting of the writing staff during the 5th season. So it took a little while to gestate, and apparently they were struggling with some ideas in the 6th season, and so they kind of resurrected this one. And you know, they wanted a little bit like you know, the later episode Lower Decks. They wanted to really concentrate on the relationships between people rather than, you know, the sort of exploration mission, perhaps. So yeah,
I think those writers actually they do quite a good job of that, because like Imaginary Friend, this one, Lower Decks, they're all kind of people studies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which it seems these guys are particularly good at writing relationships and that sort of story.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice.
Sorry, Tabby's looking out for Chiefs. So just to mention, I have changed some of my backgrounds because my computer took a wipe. So there could be a couple of new ones in here you may not have seen before. Yes, that's one of them. And she thought I was in engineering. We lost her for a second.
She went.
I was in the TARDIS control room. It kind of looks like an engineering with the central console, but yeah, that was the TARDIS.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a reference to other shows you may be able to cheat me on.
Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're watching this for the first time, we do have an ongoing bingo segment where Chief Sean says out random facts and things that is a common theme throughout the TNG review show. If you spot one of those things, Tavikins Turner will shout them out in live chat when she's around, and it will go on your bingo card.
For instance, this cup might be a reference because Chief Props, for example, if I mention this cup, that's the same as the one that
you get teacups for that one. But yes, there's a couple of appearances of different Sodom teacups in this episode, aren't there?
There's a few of them. Yeah, there's a longer version of the white-handled version. There's a few.
Yes, the white one and the black one are in this episode.
Oh, I've got to share pictures now. I will say this week I'm using a new picture provider. There we go. The standard picture provider is down. It's just 404s. So I had to scramble around at the last minute and find a different website. So it was a little harder.
Oh, look who you've got on the picture, and Tabby's not even here to appreciate it.
I'll start the episode with a good data pic because that'll make her happy, and then I'll see her little smiling face. But she's not here to appreciate it.
Will I do a Tabby impression?
Yeah, go on then.
Look at that schnoz!
Look at the width of those shoulders. It's everything, isn't it? Look at the length of that neck. Look at the length of the arms.
Look at them long dangly arms.
I don't know, but yeah, any of those things, yeah, would be Tavikins would be all over it. So, yes. Yeah, so the teaser. So we open up with, it's early in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Picard's up early and wants to get to working on some personal projects. So he goes to the bridge and tells Data he wants to contact Dr. Moray at his archaeological dig, but Data points out that there's a comms blackout, as requested by Stellar Cartography. But he can override it if Picard wants. But Picard tells Data that his request isn't important enough, so he goes to his ready room. Say goodbye, Data. Goodbye, Data.
Bye.
What's up? Unlucky, Tav. You missed it.
You missed him. Hopefully she's watching it at home somewhere, and she's
She'll have it on her phone if her laptop went or something.
Yeah. There, he requests some excavation schematics from the ship's computer, only to be told by the computer that the library is offline by the order of, you guessed it, stellar cartography. So he goes to make himself a cup of Earl Grey, hot from the replicator, only to find out that yes, that's offline too. So he decides to go to stellar cartography and see what they're up to. Ooh. I just got to remember to switch my phone onto silent so it doesn't beep away. There we go.
I don't think it's really realistic that they would take the replicators offline, not on a ship of over 1,000 people, right?
I know, it's like, well, people now, because I mean, that is the way they get water as well. So,
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, I mean, they have emergency rations and things, but I mean, would it not just be the case? But you'd think they'd tell you, you know, like, I mean, if they're cutting off your electricity or your water, you know, you get a notification your water is going to be off for 6 hours or whatever it is. You know, unless it's an emergency.
There's no way they're going to convenience or inconvenience all those people and families, and that would just be too disruptive to ship operations.
Yeah, everyone should know that, and you know, they should have emergency supplies and 10 forward, you know, water tanks, or I mean, maybe some of the shuttles have, you know, replicators. They could just use the shuttles if they had to take the main systems offline.
Portable replicators,
I mean,
like on every deck in the corridors or something.
You would think there'd be some sort of emergency setup. It's like, yeah, I understand it's to a power fluctuation. Leave the ones in the shuttle bays. You just go down, get your drink. Or just, yeah, as I said, have them in 10 forward, whatever it is. Yeah, it's a bit silly.
So, I don't know, we haven't quite got there yet. But she says, I didn't expect anybody to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning or something, which again, like we've talked about this.
On a ship.
Surely they, like, do they not work around the clock? Do they not have to, I don't know. I mean, maybe they do maintain some sort of circadian rhythm for people. But
yeah, we know it has a 3-shift pattern.
Cruise and that sort of thing,
Yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be less people on overnight, but there still has to be. That's another problem. Data's on the bridge on his own. I don't even see anyone with him. I mean, you'd have to have a minimum of 2 people, you know, just in case one of them had a heart attack.
There was a dude in the back.
There was. Sorry. I stand corrected.
I'm just debunking. I'm debunking that information.
And I'm going to jump slightly ahead of myself as well. I'm fairly sure it's military protocol when you go to the ship. The first thing you do is report to the captain. Supposedly she's been on the ship about 10 days and he hasn't met her yet. You know, that's not how it works.
He seems to know who she is, but you'd think, being that she is a commander, she's not even like an ensign.
She's a department head, yeah.
She's a department head, so you'd think.
Yeah, but first thing you do is report to the captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
You introduce yourself.
Peace
Stewart on board.
Peace Stewart says, "Great show." Well, thank you, Sir Patrick.
I thought it's the real Peace Stewart, but
I somehow doubt it. But welcome all the same. The real Peace Stew has a book out called. Actually, do you want to guess what it's called?
Make It So.
Stewart. Make It So.
Yeah. It's making it so, but you're 90%. You're close enough. Yeah.
Oh, there's titles.
Yeah, sorry, Making It So. But yeah, it's hit the bestseller list as well now.
Yeah, it's doing well, yeah.
I've got to get that. I'm going to have to get that. Thanks for making that known. Making It So, I guess. Right, I'm going to have to get that on Amazon. I guess.
Yeah, it's one of it. I'm going to get it on Audible, so it's done in his voice. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yes. That'd be great.
I did see some video of him going through train stations and going through airports and signing a few of them, because that's a thing that people do. So, you know, if you were going through an airport and it was an airport like Gatwick or Stansted that he might have went through, there's a chance 1 or 2 of them could be signed.
You'd have to sign my phone.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
Tabikins, I'm guessing you've had laptop issues because you're now on your phone.
Yeah, for some reason the Wi-Fi in my house is getting really wonky and all of the pages just won't load anymore. And it was right when I came into my background started working. So I'm like, oh, it works now. And then Wi-Fi's down.
We've had Patrick Stewart in chat telling us we've got a great show here. So we're just all pretty pleased with ourselves right now, Tammy.
Yeah.
And go buy his book, obviously, like I'll be doing after this show. Yeah. So, carrying on with the episode. So we had Captain Picard. He's headed off down to stellar cartography to see what's going on with his ship. So he enters stellar... Oops, nope. Wrong tab. Get over there. See, it's not good when you do it wrong, is it? Okay, so he enters stellar cartography and finds the room in almost complete darkness. A lady orders him to be in or out, but close the door. Those in the room are busy trying to do something, it would seem unsuccessfully by the looks of things, and the lady in charge turns around and blames the person who entered the room. But is surprised to see that that person is in fact the captain. Picard wants to know what's so important as to deprive him from his early morning cup of Earl Grey. But rather than answer his question, Ensign Duran suggests that maybe he is awake at this time and having problems sleeping because he's drinking stimulants at night. So she re-enables the replicators and makes him a soothing herbal tea blend number 3 hot. Picard tries it, but he does not like it at all. Flustered that he doesn't like her tea, she points out that she has 7 different flavours programmed into the replicator. Picard feigns interest in trying them. He doesn't look particularly impressed. And as he's trying to say yes, he'll try them, he starts coughing as the tea catches in his throat. She returns to answering his questions and tells him that she's taking very precise gravimetric readings and constructing a mathematical model of an emerging solar system. Picard thinks she'll have a long wait to see if her model was right, but she says, well, she's got things to do in the meantime. And that was the end of our teaser. It's question time.
Step up to red alert.
Sir, are you absolutely sure? It does mean changing the bulb.
Yes, very good, Sean. Very good.
Oh, too easy.
Very good.
Right, so what time does Picard enter the bridge? A 0100, B 0200, C 0300, or D 0400? And how many million years did Darren say was needed to see if she was right? How many millions of years?
I purposely... I think I might have said one of those things, but I missed off the other one. It's I try to work out which one facts you were going to use in the teaser, so I particularly omitted some. Oh, she's she's
I haven't written either of these things down.
Well, Tabby gave an answer there before she went off and said 1 million.
I think it might have been 3 o'clock. And I don't know. I'm going to go 47 just for fun.
Oh, see, I'm going to go.
Yeah, that's the problem when you're setting questions is to try and not create a pattern. So don't always ask the name of the planet. Don't always ask the name of the shuttle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it becomes too easy after a while if I always ask that. So you always have to keep trying to think of a different way of asking things.
That's what I always did. It would have
I
been
don't mind if you ask the same sort of thing.
It would have been the name of the planet where the archaeology is taking place. That would have been my questions. Any trivia from the teaser there, Maz?
Yes, too much really. It's just a sea of red and green in my notes.
Pick a few interesting ones.
In the opening scene, I mean, this was one that I got online, but they were saying that the decal on the door was the wrong color because it was light purple rather than maroon. However, this was noticed. It says noticed in the remastered HD version. I'm guessing noticed and corrected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, color correct. Yeah, they can do that. It's relatively easy for a plain door all one color to just color correct it.
Mm-hmm. So we see
even in the tape days, they color corrected things.
We we see the stellar cartography lab for the first
It
time.
is. It is. I mean, it's a standard lab with like a dome in it.
It also features in Generations, but is more elaborate in Generations with like
It's a giant green screen.
Yeah, it's a big video wall. Yeah.
Like star charts, and because there was obviously a bigger budget in the film.
Patrick Stewart feels right at home in stellar cartography and Generations. He just needs a wheelchair because it kind of wheels him out onto a platform in the middle of a big dome, doesn't it? And it's like, what's it called? Yeah, but
Cerberus.
Cerebus?
Not Cerberus. It's something like that, but it's something. Yeah.
Oh, she's back on her computer.
And Rene Echevarria recalled that.
I'm sorry.
Cerebro.
Oh, there we go. We got there.
I said Cerberus, which is the name of the three-headed dog. It's close, but not right. And here's his Moira McTaggart. Sorry, Mother.
Rene Echevarria was observing that, in contrast to some of his previous romances, they deliberately went for somebody who was a bit closer to his age, somebody who, they thought they wanted to make it a little bit more, like lend a bit more weight to it in a way, or make it a bit more realistic or powerful, that she could be somebody that, he might settle down with, kind of thing.
I think
obviously
that's
the white
really,
bowden cups there.
That is really nice to see, isn't it? That, a captain of the starship's got like someone his age, and it's not like it doesn't give you the ick, does it?
Well,
especially after, what was that last one? She was 17 in Tapestry. That was ick.
He was supposed to be 18, but yeah. Although, well, no, the actress was 17, but she was supposed to be a graduate of the academy, so she should be.
She was playing a 21-year-old, I think, but still.
Also, Patrick Stewart is 10 years younger than Picard, because I think he was 47. Funnily enough, 47, or I think it's 47 when he took the role, but Picard was 57, because people don't age the same way, So, like, even in Star Trek Picard, it's 100, but the actor is 80, 86 or something.
Cerebro, Underground Paradox. G-Star knew what it was.
Thanks, G-Man.
Okay, should we have answers to the questions?
Yeah, it was 0300, and yes, it was 2 million years.
Oh, both of them right. Look at that. Oh no!
So it was just you and Stuplum.
But there's no Wookiee. Wookiee's not around.
Oh, you're lucky.
Wookiee on the board.
I thought we decided we're putting Wookiee on regardless.
I don't think that's a good idea. Oh God!
Not convinced. Okay.
So when Callum came around on Saturday, his younger brother uses this exact spinner to make all his decisions in life. But what he does is he repeats the values, so they're like the wedges are a lot smaller. So if it looks like you haven't got enough, you could repeat Monty Wookiee Stew another 2 times, and it would be like smaller wedges.
No, it's fine.
You could throw in a wild card, like everyone gets 5 points, everyone loses 5 points.
I'm just spinning it.
Spin again.
Stu has it.
Got the points. Very happy about that. Well done, Stephen.
Just relieved, aren't you?
I'm relieved. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with that. I have to say, I quite like the new website. I think that it looks better without the white border around, and the pictures are a bit bigger.
Yeah, it's decent enough.
It doesn't have as many screen caps, so I'm a little limited for each scene. But and they're a little bit of a pain to get the URL. I've got to do more clicks, but they look better, I think. Okay, so we're on to Act 1, and we're on the bridge. Oh, you missed Data at the very beginning, Tabby.
We did scream and whoop in your stead.
I'll go back. Look, there you go. That was the picture.
He was
you
looking
missed.
hella delicious in that scene too. Oh my gosh.
There we go. Okay, so we're on the bridge. Riker's got his Riker maneuver pose going on. I think he's got his leg even higher than normal on this one. His foot is like almost up on
Showing
the
off his
desk.
calves there.
Yeah,
His knees almost up around his ears.
yeah, I know. It's a high one. He's stretching out. That's for sure. On the bridge, Riker reports that they are approaching the Borgalis Nebula.
Sorry, I mistimed that.
What was that?
Apologies.
Yes.
Hold on, I'll do it one more time.
One day. Just one day without this. That's all I ask.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that
That
is.
was Brent Spiner. That was Brent Spiner saying one day, just with that one day without being referred to as data. Okay, never mind. Didn't land.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
It was from Joey, the Friends spin-off. Doesn't matter.
On the bridge, I did say you're allowed to do it as long as you don't do it over me. So that's
I'm sorry,
that's strike one.
I mistimed it.
I'm just
I
warning you.
mistimed it. I mistimed it.
Shut up, Sean.
Right, here we go. On the bridge, Riker reports that they are approaching the Borgalis Nebula in 3 hours for scientific study. He also notes that Commander Darren has already requested extra time on the sensor array. Data reminds Picard there's a classic music concert recital this evening in 10 Forward, and Picard says he'll be excited to be there. He seemed too excited. I was like, I guess it's not poetry, is it? So it's not that bad. Later, Picard's having dinner with Beverly, and he tells her that their current journey will bring her close enough for her to visit Wesley, which is nice. She comments that she likes his new tea. He tells her it's herbal, but he doesn't mention where he got it from. Picard goes into waxing lyrical about star system predicting and explains Commander Darren's research about fractal particle motions. And Beverly's like, that's all very interesting. Not. But they have to hurry.
Oh, Wookiee's in the chat.
Hey! Hey, Wookiee. That was nice gait from Riker. Yes, he has good gait. Yes. They head to 10 Forward. They hurry to 10 Forward for the concert, and we see why Picard is so interested to be there, because Commander Darren is playing the piano. Here's Picard captivated by her performance, and there's Troy behind him peering into his mind, going, "Oh yes, oh yes, let's see what's going on here." Later, in the after-show party, Data notices that the applause exceeded the average decibel levels, which means it must have been good. Data and the Doc leave Picard and Darren to it. They discuss her delightful performance, with Picard commenting on her choice of playing F minor chord rather than a diminished D, showing himself to be a musician also, though strictly amateur at that. She tells him that now she is on his ship to expect the unexpected. How can you expect the unexpected?
Well, being prepared for the unknown as opposed to expecting everything to go to plan. So, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
If you expect it, it's not unexpected, is it? Anyway.
Well, expect things not to go to plan, basically.
Yeah, I just noticed.
Nice, Mazza. Now I'm matching you and Monty.
Yes, good evening, Wookie. It's good to see you on. Yeah, Picard's delighted with her being there. And this is the end of the Act 1, but I wanted to end on a D pick. So there you go. There it is. End of Act 1. Question time.
Question
So
time.
we've got Brent Spiner in chat as well as Patrick Stewart in chat.
Brett.
All right. So, who
my
is the
fate.
new member? Who is the new member of Crusher's team? A. Alec, B. Beck, C. Check, or D. Lek? And the second question was, which arpeggio did Picard notice she changed the music? A first, B second, C third, B fourth.
Crusher had a new member of her team?
She mentioned it in passing. You don't see them.
She did. I know that one. I'm just less sure about the music one. Checking my notes.
We'll have to make sure Tavi and Brent's gets a room at some point.
Yes, definitely.
Speaking of
we've got Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner
We've
chat.
had Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner.
Perhaps you should post the link in case they want to join us live.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. People putting their answers in. So some trivs and such. So this is just one of my observations, but when Picard and Crusher were having I thought it was breakfast. They usually have breakfast, but it was obviously dinner before going to the music show. I was like, what are they eating? I was sort of looking at their plate. I couldn't figure it out. But then they leave with full plates of food. Talk about wasteful, but I guess it all goes back into the replicator, right?
Yeah, they're very 80s plates, if you know. Black hexagonal plates.
Yeah.
In the after party, you can see quite a difference in blue between the uniforms of Darren and Crusher. With Crusher with the sort of standard more bluey colour, and then Darren has the sort of slightly newer, almost teal, kind of slightly greeny blue colour, which I think then gets adopted later on. There's no real explanation ever given as to why they change colour, but it's a bit strange to sort of see the two blues next to each other.
Well, you do see in early DS9, Dax wearing green and Bashir wearing blue. And then as time goes on, they both wear blue. But they do kind of say science is more green and medical is more blue, but it's not a rule as such.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, Picard's observation that she plays F minor instead of a D diminished. I mean, it's just a bit of a crazy observation. I was at first thinking you'd have to know every single note of that music to notice something like that. But then I thought, well, even if he doesn't know it or can't play it, he does listen to it a lot. So, the difference between those two chords is that she would have played a D instead of a C, and those notes are right next to each other. So you'd think that would actually make it sound off key. It would be more likely that was actually her making a mistake. So in a complex piece of music, you usually expect about 1% of mistakes or miskeying. So, in a piece where you've got thousands of notes, you're probably going to get like 10 or 20 of them wrong, even as a classically trained pianist. So, more likely he was just pointing out a subtle mistake that she made. But how he would pick that up, he would have to be more than an amateur musician to have picked that out of a piece like that.
You'd have to be a professional composer. Yeah.
I know sometimes when I'm playing the guitar that I swap things for like F minor because I find that I can't reach. It's a complicated chord and all my fingers can't do it. So I choose like an easier D rather than F minor because it gives, if I play like half the strings, it gives the same kind of sound. But I don't have to do the complicated bit.
Yeah, never learn guitar or learn bass, so you can't get away with that because you only play one note at a time.
Well,
there's no chords.
No chords.
You're screwed. You have to do. You can go up or down an octave, or you can play an open string sometimes. But even then, it sounds wrong.
It's because Wookiee, he's using the Force. You see. Yeah. He says you're very relaxed.
Yeah, R2's doing the work.
Yeah, R2's he's working hard.
You're being shot at and everything.
Yeah, I'll move to that one. Me and Grogu. Grogu can do the flying.
Yeah.
About the performance, was there anything on whether or not they used real musicians? Because this time it looked like the people were almost playing properly or convincingly.
Yeah, there's a bad cut where you see her playing the piano and then it goes to the side of the piano and then it moves up to her face. And if you're watching it, it's fairly obvious. And you do see a scene later where Picard has overly thick, hairy hands when he's playing the flute, and they're way out from his body over here.
I have a clip for that, Sean. Yeah.
Sorry.
The clip for that.
The pianist body double is called Natalie Martin, who does the photo double, records the music, and also does some hand doubling as well. for the the Darren character.
Cool. Right, shall we have answers to the questions?
We shall, yeah. It was Beck joined the team, and it was the second arpeggio.
BB.
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 Maz.
Right.
I think Maz was the only one.
Oh,
I need a covered in bees sound effect. I don't have one.
That means I've got a 50-50 chance of losing points.
How are you feeling about this?
Not confident.
Let's spin the Pokeball.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Bad times.
Oh, dear. Oh, no. Never mind, when you've been Wookieed. You've been Wookieed.
Yeah, I got Wookied.
Yeah, right, onwards with Act 2. So, Darren comes to the bridge as she's not happy. She isn't getting more time on the sensor array as her team are in the middle of stuff. But Riker tells her the engineering need it now to conduct warp field tests. She insists because it's going to lose hours of work. So Riker offers a compromise that she can have more time tomorrow. I really thought at this point, when we go to Picard's quarters and she's there, she locks on the door. I really thought she was going to moan about Riker. I really want this, play the whole, girlfriend card. But she doesn't. She's gone to talk about music.
I will have to say, this is just from my military experience. She kind of irked me out when she kept pressing the matter. Because usually when your commander officer gives you his decision, you don't keep going, but it's yes, sir, and you fuck off.
Unless
I put in my notes, if I was their manager, I'd be getting really annoyed at her already, and she's only been there.
Abby, you crashed out when we were talking about this earlier, but she's been on the ship for about 10 days and she hadn't reported to the captain. I mean, that, and she's a department head. I mean, that's not a thing that would happen. You get on the ship, unless you need the toilet, you go straight to the captain and you report. I mean, that's the way, isn't it?
It is. You report in, or at least to your commanding officer.
Particularly she's a department. All right, well, she's a department head, so I mean, Riker at least, presumably, she reports to the captain.
But I would imagine, I don't know, because with the captain, they have this modeled more after the Navy. But I would think that your your section heads, your department heads, would have met the captain by now, either when they arrived on the ship in the transporter room, or just as a welcome as the senior officers.
Well, we do see it on Voyager that the first thing that Tom and Harry do is they report after the medical is report to the captain. That's Starfleet procedure. So the fact she's on the ship for 10 days and hasn't done it as a department head, that's not normal.
She doesn't even bother to lock the door, and I'm like, I know this is the beginning scene and we missed it, but I kind of dropped out. I was very annoyed with the fact that every office tells you when the systems are going to be down. You get that annoying email in between this time and time and time. The systems are going to be down and blah, 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 blah. How does the whole ship not know about it? How does the captain not know about it?
And they don't have one or two grunts, privates or, some sort of security just standing outside the door, just making sure.
Lock the door. Make someone go, billy beep beep. That's what they usually
ruin
do.
The entire experiment.
Yeah, not very military.
Just point it out. He's like, why don't you lock your door? Anyway. Okay, so we're in Picard's quarters. He's practicing his flute when Darren arrives. She is immediately interested in his flute, as she has never seen one like that before.
Oh my!
I may say I can't find my button.
Oh my!
I have one. Hold on.
He had sex with everyone on the ship. Man, woman, child, everyone.
Yeah. Picard tells her it's a Rassican flute. They don't make them like that anymore. She asks how long he's been playing, and after some thought, he just says, a long time. She wants him to play. What's going on in my kitchen? Shush. I'm streaming. She wants him to play she wants him to play his little flute for her, but Picard's shy, and he's never shown his flute off to anyone before, and doesn't think he's very good at it.
His flute. She wants to blow his flute.
She usually just plays with the computer.
Yeah. But she assures him that as long as he enjoys playing his flute, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. So, after she gives it a go, she plays a little bit. He plays a little bit for her, and she thinks he is better than he believes he is, and wants to play with him sometime. Because, like Shane, we don't have a piano, so she whips one right out there on the table. And here it is. Were you jealous? Did you have piano envy?
No.
Yeah, in the 90s, yes, but now I could order something like that off a Wish.
Did you look at the piano, Monty Bam?
Yeah. It looked quite
Did you notice
janky.
how the keys are all kinds of wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. There should be eight whites to those. Yeah, there's not enough white keys for the black keys, basically.
The gold keys, the gold ones.
Gold keys.
That are that look like that type that you get when you've got to blow up the text because you can't see. And I'm like, how does her
granny phone? Yeah.
Yeah.
So my sister does that. She uses her phone like this, halfway across the room.
Yeah, there's like twice as many white keys as there should be. But they, I mean, you know, basically they charged makeup and effects laboratories who created two versions of the piano, the strip one made of like a stretchy plastic, and then a solid one that she could pretend to play. And, you know, no one in the staff knew anything about the layout of the keys. So they went off some sketch that they got from the art department. But they didn't realize till later that whoever made that sketch probably didn't play the piano either, because no one noticed until they brought in the musician who was going to be teaching Darren there, like how to, you know, what to do with their hands to fake playing. And yeah, it wasn't until he got on site where he was like having a fit because the keys were all wrong, and he was trying to, you know, tell her how to be realistic, but it was like, how'd you be realistic with something that's that wrong?
G-Star.
Plus that little ditty she does at the beginning when she goes, I mean, that would have been about 4 octaves, and she's only really got 2 there to play with.
Yeah, G-Star says he has a keyboard like that rolls out. He has one, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a time when I was 11 or 12 I was learning to play piano, and I briefly was able to read music, but I've forgotten it all now. But even I can tell from miles away that's not right. Not enough keys.
So they play together. They start off with Bach's Third Brandenburg Concerto, and that proves a little bit hard for Picard because he's only just started practicing that, and so he finds it hard to keep up with her. So Darren moves them on to something easier, Frere Jacques, which they go on and add additional flourishes. Now, this is the only picture for this bit that I've got, which is a part of the easy part of Frere Jacques, which is obviously his hands. But then we noticed, I'll say Smiler Rainbow noticed it first, that it really didn't look like he was playing it. So I have got a video clip that I'm just going to bring up, hopefully. You won't be able to hear this, you guys, but in the real world, they will be able to hear this.
I can unmute.
But like when he moves about, his arms don't move.
I mean, it wasn't just the angle of the hand. It's the way it was moving around in his mouth. Like, if you were actually playing that, everything would be moving together. Like, your head wouldn't be moving independently of your hands like that. It's really weird.
But his arm like goes straight down on the right hand side, yeah, then comes across. No, that's his actual hands. It looks right, but it's like
You're definitely better
right
than you.
about where was it?
Now
Let's see if I can just find the freeze frame. Hang on a minute. No, that's not it. It's difficult to find the actual. No, I can't find the actual. I'll try to stop it at the right point.
See there, like his hand and his head, and everything's moving at once.
Yeah, that looked right, didn't it? And then when it goes on to play it again.
You try. Improvise.
Must be there, I think.
Was it there?
Good.
It looks so weird.
You see his arm coming down here, but then it's coming in from like out here. It just doesn't look anything like real. But anyway, there we go.
That answered my question. Did they get like some real people to play? And in a way, they did. That wasn't where I was thinking that was going to go, but okay. I didn't even notice it while I was watching it. I just thought it was impressive that he managed to pull that off when he's been playing like shit every other scene we've seen him.
And you can tell Picard and Patrick Stewart's kind of like almost laughing as he's blowing the flute. So I think he thinks it's really, really weird. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So obviously Patrick Stewart did some of his own flute fingering, and then quite a few of the close-up shots were Noel Webb and John Mayhem, who were like his hand doubles. And actually, Webb also does the hand doubling for Brent when they do a close-up of Data playing the violin. So yeah.
So Joey was right all those years ago in Friends. They do need hand doubles. That's a thing. That is a thing. So the next day on the bridge, Picard invites Riker to sword fencing. And he seems in a right chipper mood. Riker says, well, okay, but I'm not very good. But as Darren said to Picard the previous evening, as long as you're enjoying yourself slapping your swords together, it doesn't matter. So Riker agrees. After Picard walks off, Riker has that look on his face of, what the hell just happened? Why did I agree to that? In sickbay, Darren's gone to see the doc because she's got an arm strain. Apparently her and the captain were at it a little bit too hard last night.
Picard has a type, let's be honest.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard at it playing the piano, that is.
I was just going to say, just in relation to the hand double thing, do you know in the film Labyrinth, when David Bowie's doing all the things with the crystals, there's actually a guy behind his back doing that. blind, just like manipulating and throwing them in the air. Like, that's incredible skill. Also, Gates McFadden did all the choreography on that. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm. She looks like she's really like gonna fix her really like angrily. She's like,
oh yeah, there's a real level of subtle like Mean Girls kind of thing going on here. It's palpable.
I can imagine her arm starting to hurt more, and then she'll be like, "You're using that gadget on my. I think you're adding too much bone now. You know." I'm a doctor.
All the people that are shipping Crusher and Picard are so livid during this episode. Like that
she looks
is
hell of a
Beverly's dude, and this cheap knockoff has come in to take her place. And
Beverly from Wish.
That was wrong.
Yeah.
It's true though. It's true. She does look like Wish Beverly. But no, that's me. She actually looks quite nice, and she has like a.
No, she does.
Her hips. She's got that nice hip action. She's got some meat on her midsection too. I was like, oh, they finally got like.
Oh, no, yeah, she's thick as the kids would say.
Are you down with the kids, Sean?
No, not particularly.
Are you being down with the kids there? She's thick.
No, she's got some curves to her. She's a tidy woman, yeah. She fills out that uniform well.
She does. I remember her. I've forgotten what she's called. Do we know her name? But she was
the actress.
Yeah, she's from Melbourne, Australia, I think. And she was in a mini-series.
That's why your accent was slightly odd.
She was in a mini-series when I was a kid called Return to Eden. You ever seen that?
I knew I recognised her from something.
I loved.
Yeah,
she's called Wendy Hughes.
It was a 3-part mini-series, and I absolutely loved it because it was like full of like rich people and intrigue. It was about this rich lady. I think she owned a fashion empire or something, and she was a bit dour, a bit boring looking, plain Jane, and she married a hot young tennis player. But he just wanted her for her money, really. And he went off and had an affair with her best friend. And to get all her money, he fed her to the crocodiles, to the alligators out in the bush. And went on to inherit all her money and her fame and that. But she didn't die. She crawled out of the bush, all mangled. And using her wealth, managed to procure a top-of-the-range plastic surgeon who turned her into the most beautiful woman that you'd imagine. And then she went on like a revenge kick on her ex to destroy him. Yeah, it was a good little mini-series, Return to Eden, an Australian thing. It was like 1982, something like that. I was like 8 or 9 when I watched it. I loved it. Stuck with me ever since. Her company in it was called Harper. So when I was a kid, I always like dreamed of being rich and owning a company. And whenever I made up a make-believe company, I always called it Harper after the company in Return to Eden. So there you go. I always imagined owning a company called Harper.
She now has my respect. I didn't like this character, but at least knowing that other part was played by this woman, I'm enjoying this. She's above Beverly right now. It's like girl got plastic surgery and went psycho on dude. Yeah. I'm down with that.
She was in The Man Who Sued God, which is a Billy Connolly film where he sued the church because an insurance company wouldn't pay out when his boat sank due to a cross of lightning. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They said it was act of God, didn't they?
Yeah. And so he sued the church, and I think it was roughly based on a true story. And she had a son called Jay, which is Brent Spiner's middle name. So I'm not saying anything, but connect the dots yourself. She's dead nearly 10 years. She died of cancer at 61.
Cancer.
Yeah.
She passed away. The actress here
at the age of 61.
She'd be 70 now if she was alive, but just be gone, or she'd be 71 if she was alive. But yeah, she's gone 10 years. She died 8th of March 2014, cancer. Yeah, there you go.
That's so sad.
Well, it's unfortunate. Women get the bad end of the deal there because there's more internal cancers you get. So yeah, it happens.
Well, no, we can't talk about now.
Yeah, you can't be like, stay away from Beverly's man. No.
Get some of that Picard while you can, girl.
You get it now. Whilst everybody's trying to work out the answer to Wookiee's pop quiz question there in chat, I'll continue with the act. So Darren and Picard climb through Jeffrey's tubes to the fourth intersect of Jeffrey's tube 25, which Darren contests is the most acoustically perfect spot on the ship. She demonstrates this by whipping out her keyboard and giving it a good tinkle. Does anybody spot the, not the mistake, but the obvious issue with this scene?
Rather obvious matte painting with a forced perspective that looks really wrong and doesn't move when the camera moves.
Yeah. It's usually at the end of like a Jeffries tube, isn't it, that, to make it look longer? But they just plastered it straight in the opening here.
Could have just closed the door. Yeah, no.
The thing is, as she walks in front of it, you can actually see her shadow on the matte painting. You know? And it's got a big crease down here in the corner.
Oh my god!
But the other problem is the moment you move the camera, it becomes extremely obvious. If the camera is fixed, it's not too bad. But even in this still shot, it's still fairly obvious. But because of parallax, it becomes very obvious, and it's just someone freeform moving a camera in a very small room. So not great.
So while they're in the Jeffries tube, Picard has a go as well with his little flute, playing the folk melody that he learnt whilst he was living his life as Carmen. She thinks that the song is beautiful, and she joins in with the song on the piano. Again, we see that blank Jeffries tube in the background there. Did anybody notice anything else about this piano in this scene?
Mazza, you must have that in your notes here. Not the piano itself.
Well, she rolls it out on the floor, and then all of a sudden, when you get this shot and back, it's got a stand.
There's a magic stand. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, there is. When the camera goes to Picard, you do hear like click, clack, click of her putting the stand together, though. So whilst it's not on camera, I think audibly there's an indication that she's doing that.
Oh, okay. I just thought,
in modern tech, you probably couldn't have such a fixed stand, but maybe it's some sort of, nanotech that can be pulled out. It's 24th century, but then again, they're impressed by a rollout piano. Again, you can order one of those now from Wish for about $20
you can put an
$30.
electric current through it, and it just automatically forms that shape type thing.
I've even seen virtual keyboards for if you just your phone, where it just it throws out a little laser grid, to a keyboard, and you just type and it just picks up where the beams are being interrupted. So, yeah, we've moved past that tech now.
So what are we thinking then on Wookiee's quiz? Who would win a fight between Chief O'Brien and Worf's son Alexander? Who do you think would win?
I think Chief. He went through a war with the Cardassians, and he was face to face and had to kill them and stab them and everything else. Alexander is a soft touch. He never had that kind of experience. So you don't say what age of Alexander. I'm assuming you mean as an adult, but because he when he was 9 years old, he was an adult and serving on the Return. But I'd have to give it to the Chief.
I'd give it to the Chief as well. He's battle worn, isn't he?
And
he knows all the tricks.
Chief O'Brien and TNG old McCoy. Well, McCoy again hasn't had any real hand-to-hand combat experience, so even a younger McCoy, I'd say O'Brien would win against, let alone a really old McCoy who looks like he would shatter a hit if you.
I about to say I could probably have McCoy, and that's saying something, isn't it?
He was in a whole Saving Private Ryan adventure.
You are a TNG old McCoy.
Yes.
I'm a McCoy, yeah.
Well done. Nice.
Hey,
dad joke.
I'll give you a. Yeah. There you go.
Is it just me that does a dad joke, or can it be anyone? Because that's a dad joke.
Yeah, it can be anyone.
Yeah, I think it has to be you, doesn't it, Sean? I don't know. You have to ask Tammy.
Tammy, go off mute there for a second. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
It's Ben.
It's Ben who?
It's been a long road getting from there to here.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Okay, so just finishing off this act then. We go down to engineering, and Geordie's like, what's up with this Jeffries tube? Seems to be playing music, but Data doesn't hear anything because it seems to have stopped. I wonder why. Wonder why the music stopped. And we see why. Because they're getting it on. And that's the end of Act 2.
Did anyone think that posture was just forced?
Sorry?
That posture that they're kissing in. Who kisses like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, and also from where they were sitting to where they're standing, that's not how they would have met. Basically, Picard, you would have seen the back of Picard's head. It's very awkward staging or blocking. Excuse me.
I think they must be kneeling or kneeling on a box or I don't know, something like that.
Okay, so first question: which of these artists' music is not used in this episode, or at least not mentioned? A. Bach, B. Beethoven, C. Chopin, or D. Handel? And what activity did Picard invite Riker to share with him, or to do with him, whatever way you wish to phrase that? But the blocking. I suppose it's a small set, and the camera. They were big in that stage, and obviously you can even see the curves of the Jeffries tube where they're shooting it from, because the camera just simply couldn't fit any better. So
it actually pans back. If you watch this shot, it actually pans back, so you travel down the Jeffries tube as they're kissing. So yeah, you see that.
Cameras were big back there. There were film cameras. They you couldn't just put in a little digital camera like now, about the size of your fist, and take the shot. It was tough to work in that little set. There's only so many angles you can
do. Anything else from this act, Maz?
Yeah, a few. I don't have much in the later acts, but these earlier ones, yeah. So when he's in his quarters drinking tea, back to the Black Bodum, the one that Chief Sean knows and loves. Also, as there was a boom mic visible just as she enters his quarters. Just as she's coming in, you can see it's like a little black blobby at the top that just sort of moves a little bit out of camera. So yeah, small thingy there. Obviously, we all know this. This brings out Storage's beloved Resican flute that he learned to play in the episode Inner Light. The flute is a non-playable prop. We talked a bit about the roll-up piano and the hand doubles. Yes, and we talked about the matte painting.
Quick good night to G-Star, Unexplained Files. Unexplained Files? That's different. Unexplained Paradox. I think that, anyway, the Unexplained Files, just popping in to say hello. It's an early night for him. They're up at 4 a.m. Oh, it's the Unexplained Files, who we talked to last week. I'm getting it all mixed up. Hey, good evening, chaps. I hope you're well. They're up at 4 a.m. for work, so they hope we're good.
Aww.
So, thanks for popping by, chaps.
Lovely to see you. I
thought it was G-Star for a minute, the Unexplained Paradox, but of course it's not. It's the Unexplained Files.
Yeah. This is the third appearance of Frere Jacques, which was previously in Disaster and Inner Light. It's funny that she picked that song, and obviously it's a song that Picard has initiated himself a couple of times in the past. So I think that's like an indicator of them being, on a little bit of a wavelength. And in fact, Jerry Taylor with Wendy Noyce, is it? And Dennis McCarthy, they talked about how to have the build up to this duet scene. And they wanted to not just put them straight into it. They wanted to let it kind of build and have, although she was an amazing musician, for her to be encouraging and supportive and kind of, bring Picard out of his shell and have him let his guard down and things like that. And they kind of really achieved that, I think. So, sort of good writing from that point of view. I think all too often in Star Trek, we have, a bit like with Worf a few episodes ago, where, he met somebody and then the next thing he's like, oh, I'm in love with you. And it's like, well, he just met her 5 minutes ago. But with this, there was a little bit more. I mean, it's still like, falling in love in one episode is a little bit crazy. But I mean, it felt like there was a lot more of a build. You could understand it, you could see that rapport building over time. So, yeah. That was about it.
Yeah, I think it
it
kind
was-
of is sold really well.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2 points in that. One thing, well, in modern parlance, so we've probably gone past it, but because nobody uses Facebook anymore. But back in the day, we call that Facebook stalking. Like if you were interested in someone, you just like go through their social media posts, you just trawl through it. I suppose people still do it, but they just, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, whatever else, you trawl through their social media to get an understanding of who they are, and you work off of that. I think that's common enough in the modern age. The other thing is talking about the hand doubles. Data plays the fucking violin right-handed, and it just drives me crackers every time I see it, because he's the most left-handed person I've ever seen, and it's just like, like he just every time they do it to him, they give him right-handed instruments.
Data's ambidextrous, though. He can do anything. Data.
Why would he play it right-handed? You hold the instrument with your left hand.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So the left hand is the one that does all the work.
So like I used to play bass guitar, and as I said, I would strum with my left and I would use the fret with my right, and he's doing it the other way. So he's been playing guitars. You couldn't get left-handed instruments in the 90s. He played guitars before as well. They're all backwards simply because it's just a prop error that you actually couldn't get left-handed instruments, and they didn't adapt them to him. And they in the close-ups they changed to a photo double, and they it looks fine, but he looks incredibly awkward when you zoom out and you can see he's a left-handed person using a right-handed instrument. It's not right.
You get people that do it the wrong way around though, because like my cousin Rob's left-handed, but he uses his knife and fork and plays guitar right-handed. My son's right-handed, but he uses his knife and fork left-handed way around. It's weird.
Yeah, well, some people, it's kind of a spectrum. Some people are kind of, I suppose, what you call mixed-handed. I'm a bit mixed-handed. I would use a mouse right-handed, but I learned to play bass left-handed. Do you know Ted in Scrubs? Do you remember the lawyer in Scrubs?
Yeah.
He was in a Beatles tribute band, and he did the part of Paul McCartney. And even though he's right-handed, he learned to play the bass left-handed because he was playing Paul McCartney in the Beatles, so he had to learn it the other way around. So it is possible, but it's a steeper learning curve.
Yeah, apparently left-handed violins aren't really a thing.
Oh.
I mean, maybe they would be 400 years ago, but...
Yeah, but you try to get left-handed instruments, it's a real struggle, speaking from experience.
My dog's insisting I play with him.
Ah, that's cute. Adorable.
He's trying to pull me around.
I always thought it was strange in these that they put a lot into the build-up and everything, but they never add in simple captain log inserts so that you know that that time has passed. Not that we don't appreciate seeing that, but even so, if you show that build-up and whatnot, it would just help if you get like a captain's log update, like it's been like 2 weeks or something, instead of just assuming everyone knows that each episode spans a certain amount of days.
Do you have a fact on that, Mazza?
No.
I think this is, I saw in the IMDb, this is one of the few episodes that doesn't have a captain's opening or closing log. They don't use that they don't use that framing device in this episode, and it's extremely rare. There's probably only 2 or 3 episodes of all of TNG that happens.
Yeah, he does 2 log entries in the middle, but not at the beginning.
But normally they use one to open and close an episode, and they don't this.
Yeah. Right. Answers to the questions.
Questions. Where was I? So Chopin wasn't included. And Riker asked them to go fencing, so they play with their swords. Have a little.
Do you mean handle?
I think you mean handle.
I really should have written that. Yes, handle. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, sorry, I should have written that round properly. Apologies, you're right.
Sure, one of them was Chopin.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was going to say just the trio at the beginning was a Chopin trio in G minor.
Yes,
the music that Picard had been practicing in his room was Bach.
Back.
And although I don't think it was mentioned, when they go to the Jeffrey's Tube
Jeffrey's
there,
Tube.
she starts playing Moonlight Sonata, which is Beethoven.
Sorry, you're right. Well done. You corrected me. Yeah, Handel. Sorry, I wrote this yesterday.
Handel.
Oops. I should have written down the answers.
I think everybody got fencing, so everybody's on the wheel. I'm going to spin that wheel. Do 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 do. Oh.
Yes! Congratulations,
Ruthie, baby. Well done, Ruth. Oh, that was a
the
close
bad
one.
roll knocked out Wookiee.
That had us all our hands in our mouths there for a minute.
I was enjoying the upcoming pain. I don't know if that makes me a masochist.
Says a lot about you, I think, there, Tabby. Okay, Act 3. We are in the turbo lift, and they're talking about Corellian tenors. When they are joined by a junior officer, Picard's demeanor changes. And when Darren tells him she'll be finishing work at 1100 hours, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, all he replies with is, "Very good, Commander," and leaves. Which, yeah, she feels is a bit of a snub. That's her, "Oh, I've just been snubbed" face. It looks a little bit like Beverly's face when she told her she'd strained herself with the captain that night. That was kind of Beverly's look too.
Her hair looks a bit Janeway-esque as well.
Does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit Janeway, and it's a bit
Janeway-ish.
I don't know, 30s. It's fairly intricate.
I guess
Even
whoever's the hairstylist on this on TNG likes that sort of like 1930s, 1920s. Because when he went back in time in a few episodes ago, yeah, when he went back to the 21-year-old girl, she looked like something out of the 1930s as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
There's also there's a really complicated braid at the back you see in some shots. So there's no way possible she could have set that herself. Well, I believe so. I've never had long hair, but there's a really complicated braid at the back, and I don't think it's humanly possible she could have done it. So unless they have some sort of robot that braids hair, or the holodeck program or something, I think she's getting help there.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can do some quite intricate braids, because I've cornrowed my entire hair and styled my entire hair.
But it's right at the back.
So long as you have a mirror, you can always reach the back of your head.
Yeah,
very well.
Smiley Rainbow can do that to herself.
Maybe with a webcam or something, I suppose, possible.
Well, they've got the aluminum holographic mirror that you can just pull up, but all you need is a regular mirror, another mirror, and a one of those ones that you get in a hotel that kind of extend. Every officer's got that on there.
Yeah, my mother had a rental property for a while, and my sister used to love it because it had two mirrors back to back. Yeah, so she could see the back of her head, and she used to love it because she was able to do weird things. But yeah, it's fairly intricate, to be doing every day, I would think.
On the bridge, Worf reports that the Federation outpost of Bersalis 3 has a period of firestorms beginning. So Picard decides to take the Enterprise and go study the phenomenon. He then takes Troy to his ready room to discuss his fledgling relationship. Picard opens with, "Now, he knows that there are no rules specifically for having relationships with other officers, ... But Troy jumps in and finishes his thought by telling him that he wants her opinion on his relationship with Commander Darren. The absolute know-it-all. Look at her face there, look. Ah, I know what you're going to say.
Spill the tea.
I'm telepathic.
All the tea.
Like, this is so going to be the conversation that I'm going to have with Beverly later.
Yeah. Yeah. Picard suddenly worries that he's been super obvious about it, completely forgetting that Deanna is part telepathic and so knows everything anyway. But of course, Picard... Sorry.
I was thinking, this scene I found very entertaining because in the military, it's really, really funny. You have all these regulations about your behavior and whatnot. And they've got specific lines about fraternization versus, getting involved with a different type. So, but no one ever pays attention. But it's so funny. Suddenly, when you're about to date someone, that's when everyone shows up to the person that is supposed to give you all the information. Hey, remember that fraternization clause? What are the parameters of that again? Well, how? And this scene just was very entertaining to me to see even the captain going, the fraternization rules that everyone's supposed to just kind of know. Can we? I don't remember there being a problem, but I can do this, right? Right?
That's normal, isn't it? Yeah.
Around 20 years ago, I was a barman in Antwerp. I don't know if I ever told you that story. And anyway, long story short, there was a British ship in for some sort of naval commemoration. And there was some sort of argument between, was it 2 officers and 2 enlisted? Either way, they were different ranks. And like one was in a relationship with a girl, but they were different ranks, so they couldn't have a fight, but they were really angry. So the lad who was angry basically ended up having a fight with someone who was the same rank as him, but it was a girl, because then it was okay because they couldn't get in trouble in the same way. So they ended up having a big bar fight and getting like really down to it, because the person that he actually had the problem with, they couldn't do it because they're both their careers. It was an absolute shit show to watch, but I did see it occur, and I was like, all right, guess that's the Navy.
Good evening, Mickey. I just saw you in chat there. Good evening, sir. I hope you're
Mickey.
well. I hope you're healthy. And good evening, Karen. Well, you're missing lots of Picard sexy action this evening, I'll tell you. He's been playing with his little flute and everything. You missed it.
Yeah, I'm playing with the computer and now been asked to play with someone else.
Yeah. Yes.
The other thing on this fraternization rule thing is, I don't know whether it was due to her own ethical code or whether they got stricter about it, but Janeway very much implies that she can't have a relationship with somebody under her command, but, it might have been more to do with the situation they were in or self-imposed, but
they can't transfer him.
To take it as seriously as she does.
Riker and Troy, they decided they couldn't have a relationship because of their careers and it wouldn't be right. Pretty much Picard and Beverly have been a kind of non-starter because it wouldn't be ethically right. To all those people that have been like, oh, if it wasn't for our careers, we could... because don't worry about it. Not this time anyway.
I think Picard and Beverly was into it, and then she got pregnant and she didn't want to leave the child. But she also knew Picard had too many enemies, in the Romulan Empire, the Klingon Empire, the Cardassian Union. And she wanted, her priorities just changed from wanting a relationship with Picard to protecting her child, and she just disappeared as a result. So I don't think it's quite right. I think it was more, and ultimately it ended up happening anyway. So yeah, it didn't really make a difference.
Yeah, but you're talking about future lore. I mean, I don't really apply that to now. That's all
that's fair point.
Theoretical in the future lore.
Yeah, true.
I think more about it in TNG is because of the trauma that she suffered and the fact that Picard was responsible for her her husband's death. And whilst there is the attraction between them, they can't take it too far because there's just too much trauma.
Yeah, and it looks kind of like Spawn, I'm gonna marry my best friend's widow. He's dead now. I'm gonna date her. So it's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's not right, is it?
Well, that used to be kind of a thing, because you have a best man at a wedding. If the groom didn't turn up, the best man was expected to step in and make sure the marriage happened.
Yeah, this 24th century. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I always thought it was weird in Star Trek that they kept saying, oh, because we're in Starfleet, we can't have a relationship. And I'm like, why? That was never like a military thing, but they never explained why they can't have it. Oh, because I want to be a captain. I was like, you can still be married and your spouses get deployed with you. Like in the military, if you're married, the couple gets deployed together.
Yeah.
I remember being on a flight to Germany once, and I was beside two young American girls, and they couldn't have been more than 20. I think they were only 19, and like they were both married. But pretty much, if they weren't married, they couldn't go with their husbands when they got deployed. So they were like together a couple of weeks, and then like, all right, let's get married. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
There's nothing
I
that
just
keeps
thought it
you
was
sharp and
they had that-
focused in a frontline situation when loved ones are on the line as well. That tees your mind straight into the current situation.
As Picard's about to find out.
Anyway, let's go on with this act. So yes, of course, as we just discussed, Picard is. Oh fudge! At least I noticed it was going to the wrong place. There you go. Of course, Picard's worried that this is going to compromise his judgment, how it will look with the rest of the staff, etc., etc. And Troy's like, "Are you asking me for permission?" And Picard's like, "Well, yeah, I suppose I am, really." And so she gives it. "You have my permission." And he's like, "Yay!" And I imagine Picard now leaving his ready room and skipping his way down to stellar cartography with a bunch of roses in his hand. Anyway, that's what happened in my headcanon. So he arrives at stellar cartography and apologizes for his behavior in the turbo lift. She said for a moment she thought that maybe one kiss was enough for him, and he's now moving on to his next conquest. But Picard shows her that that is not the case by taking her back to his quarters. And telling her about his altered life, the alternate life he led, has come in for 25 minutes whilst he was connected to a space probe. And thus the significance of the music and the flute to him. And she thanks him for sharing his, like, sort of, his inner self with her. And they do more of the kissing stuff. And there they are. Smoochy, smoochy. Darren then later catches Riker in the corridor, and she wants to know why Cabot's transfer request has been denied. Riker argues that the quantum mechanics want to keep him, but Darren argues that Cabot wants to move, and Riker is annoyed that she discussed it with Cabot over his head. But after she pleads with him to reconsider, he finally agrees to reconsider it. What did you think about that? It's another moment of her not accepting her commander's decision on the matter. I did think though
all he had to tell her was like, what did I just say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read my lips.
Thank you.
I did think though he did overreact a little bit, because you can talk to people about their career aspirations and like, oh, you could move to my team or whatever. I mean, that's a part of her role as a team leader, isn't it? To find people that would fit in.
As she points out.
Your team, yeah, she points out. I mean, I do it all the time, trying to, poach people that I think are good in relevant places. It's part of your job, isn't it?
I got the impression that she made it seem more like it was a done thing, and you just had to go ask Riker, and that's what I didn't like, because he has to approve the transfer. She should have known that. She's a commander. So I don't know what the hell she's gotten away with up until this point, and why she's on the frickin' Enterprise, not following the letter of their regulations.
But then what's his reasoning? If she says she needs him and that person wants to move and the department they're in is overstaffed, why is he refusing it?
That's one of those things, like stepping on his toes. She's not the one who decides that. And you don't know if Riker has already assigned some of those people on that overstaffed team to transfer to another ship. So she shouldn't be making offers or anything when it concerns transfers until he's given the go ahead. Like another ship could have requested those personnel, and she's like, "Oh, they're overstaffed," and he could have been like, "Actually, they're not in about 3 weeks."
Quantum mechanics says no. That's what it is.
Yeah, I would just be like she annoys me with that. It's like, why are you acting like you don't know nothing?
Yeah.
But she looks glorious in the.
I
in
may
the- in
say,
that outfit.
look at the curves in
Oh,
those
nice.
hips, I tell you.
Yeah. Her
I'm
hips
sorry,
don't lie.
but Beverly can't hit that. Look at that top and bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some childbearing hips right there.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so later, Riker goes to Picard and has a bit of moan about Picard's girlfriend and her personnel requests. But Picard points out, as she did and we just did, that she's doing her job right as a team leader in wanting to build a team. And he's like, yeah, she's doing her job. And you're doing your job as first officer to approve or deny those requests. He's like, yeah, I'm doing my job. He's like, well, that's fine then. Go about your job. And so Riker does go about his job. And Picard's like, here, my work is done. During the evening drinks, Picard is distant, though. He is worried about how his relationship is affecting the crew. They both agree just to get on with their jobs as professionals. And if it gets complicated, at the end of the day, Picard says he can always do his job and just replace her. So that's fine then. Which I thought was quite funny. So they go on about their evening when Worf reports that the firestorm on Bersalis 3 has changed speed and direction and is heading for the outpost. They have requested evacuation. So they have to speed there to run the evacuation, which ruins their evening. And that was the end of Act 3. It's question time.
Step up to red alert.
Sir, are you absolutely sure? It does mean changing the bulb.
It does mean changing the bulb.
Okay. What planet of the Bersalis system have the firestorms? A1, B4, C3, D2. And I just needed a question here, so I apologize for this one. What is the most recent parody by Starrect? Is it A, Pretty Fly for an AI, B, The Enterprise Bites Dust, C, Living La Vida Lorca, or D, I Kissed a Borg?
And FI says, right, okay. I have seen it. So
you've a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right if you answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. D. You guessed D. Okay.
And where are the answers again?
You're on mute, Mazza.
Sorry, I had to do that because Ludacris came home and he was yelling at the top of his lungs. Yeah, I just guessed. I haven't got much trivs for Act 3. Just that when Picard goes to visit Darren again in her lab, he comes in, no problem. And then did you notice when the crewman comes in behind them?
No.
And the doors kind of go like this, and then they stop about this open and they don't close. So
okay.
Background prop malfunction.
Door malfunction. There's lots of clips you can get on YouTube of like all the door malfunctions, like the outtakes of them walking into doors or doors not closing, or doors one half closes and the other half doesn't, stuff like that.
Well, it would be relatively easy to automate that just as an open and close button, that they close perfectly. I know they did it with ropes essentially, but
people pulling them.
Nowadays you still need someone to hit the button, but at the same time you could make sure it's pitch perfect, that it closes perfect and opens perfect, but just by having a few actuators and very simple electronics.
Yeah. Answers to the questions then.
All right. Yes.
I'm changing mine.
Have we not got everyone?
I'm not ready.
She's changing her answer.
Oh, do we allow that? Do we allow that?
You always have if you did it before.
We've not declared the We've not declared the answer, so I guess we can accept it.
Well, I don't know. Let me just give this opportunity just to say, if anybody could click the like button, please feel free to hit the notification bell, and you'll always be notified when a stream's coming your way. Yeah, that'd be great. She's changed
have we put in her answer?
See.
I have it in. I was a bit confused. Sorry.
What?
I'm getting dyslexia right now. I keep
D
switching.
and
I'm
C.
reading it wrong.
That was what you said originally.
said.
Yes.
So we're going with D and C. Is that your final answer?
Okay.
Wait. No, I thought it was 2 or C.
It's either C and C or D and C. Which one is it?
I'll give you a clue, Tavi. I said it. It's in my notes, and I wrote what I wrote. So I.
Okay. Okay, Tavi. I'm gonna have to take your most recent answer. It was C and C. Monty, you are correct.
Yeah.
And while it is not his most, he did do a song called "Living La Vida Loca" recently, but he did do a song called "I Kissed a Borg."
I kissed the Borg and I liked it.
I like them all.
Which was the most recent one then?
"Living La Vida Lorca."
It was "Living La Vida Loca." It's not one of my favourite ones of his, I have to say, but it was still pretty good. Maybe
but
because
it's
I'm not
still
a Discovery fan.
But it was still very inventive. It was
very good. Yeah.
I would have to say that's the most of Discovery that I appreciate. That song gave me the most.
Yeah, I have to say, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I apologize.
No. Is it? Tavi? Oh.
Yeah, I guess D. Ruth guessed A.
Oh, no.
Steve guessed B. You and Tavi got C.
Oh, it was all going so well.
I would love to get those points, but if Wookiee gets it, so delicious.
Hold your breath, everyone.
Oh, I got ops yellow. Okay, I might have to root for myself. No.
Monty. Boo.
And with that, Monty, you are now tied with Stuplam in first position.
Oh, am I? I'm coming for you, Stuplam. I'm coming for you.
I'm next on 190, Tabby's on 120, Ruth is on 90, and G-Star's on 40.
Whoop.
That's how we're at the moment.
I've been seeing how I'm going to do without writing down the notes, and it's a bit more fun now. It's like, if I don't write any notes, I get to doubt myself, and the trivia gets pretty.
Oh, no. I've just realised the last 3 pictures, nobody said that they weren't coming out, were they? There was Riker going to Picard in his office.
Look how pointy his shoulders look. It's a total triangle.
I know. Look at that. Look. His pointy ass shoulders. Holding on to that chair to try to make himself look thinner and more angular.
I think it was more the fact that he'd done his back in and he just wanted to keep the pressure off his legs.
There's them in their quarters discussing their relationship, and there's Picard saying, "Well, let's just get on with our evening before I sack you." That was the end of the act. Sorry about that. I didn't realise the pictures weren't coming out. And we're on to Act 4 already. How marvellous. So, Act 4 opens with the senior staff in the observation lounge. There they all are. Beautiful people. And they're discussing the situation with Commander Darren coming up with the idea of using thermal deflector units as a firewall.
Just before we move off of that, you can see himself, the other guy who I didn't use it as a question, is it Marquez or something? Marquez. You can see the two of them have uniforms the same color, and Beverly is a lighter color, as Mazza was saying earlier. Sorry, please continue.
What? Yeah. His is like an earlier uniform. You can tell it's got like the seam down the middle.
But the two of them are the same color, and Beverly's a lighter color. Maybe it's just the fact they were the same color, but Beverly's is washed more often because she's a regular,
Maybe.
and they have to
Maybe.
wash
Could
it every
be.
week. Just the color's faded. Who knows?
Who knows?
Nice D pick there.
Specifically chosen, I have to say. Data and Geordie agree that Darren's idea is a good idea, though they will need 6 units with 2 people per unit, and those 12 people will need to be beamed up once the wall is in place, or they will be toast. Did anybody say toast?
I love it. Oh, nice.
Mr. T says Johnny Bravo. I'm not exactly sure what that's in reference to. Maybe Riker's triangular physique?
Oh, Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, in the cartoon, Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo has this very cartoonish profile, and then he has this bouffant hair.
He'd need the bouffant hair coming off to one side, wouldn't he? I'll tell you what,
Johnny Bravo
compared to Johnny Bravo is Captain Pike in Strange New Worlds, because he has that massive hair going off in one direction.
No, yeah, he's not a he's a daddy, but Johnny Bravo was one of the first jobs for Seth MacFarlane, who obviously went on to do the Orville. So from little acorns, mighty trees grow.
Yeah, and it's funny now because you can't watch a Johnny Bravo cartoon now because it's just too. It hasn't aged well. it's a little bit rapey.
It was a parody, to be fair.
Yeah, but
it was made to make fun of it.
Aged. It just hasn't aged.
Yeah, in the Me Too era, it hasn't aged well. But to be fair, it was always meant as a parody, not as a standard to hold yourself to.
I know, but you know,
even at that, it's rough.
It's just not it.
Sorry, go on.
So Riker now issues his orders. Data to coordinate the evac on the ground. Doc to get the patients in sick bay. Marquez will track a storm on the ground, and Commander Darren will is in charge of deploying the deflectors. After the meeting, Picard confides with Darren that he is not keen for her to put herself in harm's way on the front line, but she points out that Riker's right. He chose her because she was the best person for the job, and that's what they agreed they would do their jobs. Picard and Riker head to the transporter to see off the rescue team, with Riker giving Picard updates as they go. But as they enter the transporter room, Riker's words fade away into the distance, as Picard cannot help but be consumed with worry about the situation his new love is in. I actually thought that was a very clever scene. The way, like, you were invested in what Riker was saying, the latest updates from the planet, but as you walked into the transporter room and you saw her on the transporter, his words just drifted off to just a murmur in the background as you sort of focused in on Picard. It was like, oh shit, this is real. What do I do now?
I couldn't understand why she was on that team. What is stellar cartography?
It was her idea. She's the expert in those devices. Yeah.
Because it was something she'd used previously.
Well, I would. There's one of two explanations there. One, she's a science expert, and it was a related thing from a separate project. But also the second thing, you see in TNG season 1 that they, with Geordi and Worf, when Picard has junior officers, he makes sure to run them through the ringer and push them through all sorts of different departments, so that they know the whole ship upside and down. That, a counselor knows how to run engineering if it really matters. Okay, they won't be the best at it. And I think that's kind of where it's coming from. That obviously she was a junior officer once, and maybe she did a couple of months in rotation. That's probably what it is, I would imagine.
Oh, it just seemed really weird. It seemed out of place.
But it's because she said she'd used the same method previously in a different project in a different way, so that's what made her the best choice.
I guess so.
Wookie asks what constellations you see out the window from the Starship Enterprise, but like
Big Dipper.
you wouldn't see any. You'd be like,
Yeah,
"What's that? Oh, it's gone."
Well, the ones when they're in the observation lounge, it's like it's that old holes in the curtain constellation.
Yeah, there's the cup of tea. Yeah. I know, Chew. I'm still on the internet. I can't help it, dog. I got things to do. Look, there's loads of people in this house. Go bother someone else.
You've got to get him a uniform so it pops up
He's
like
not
a little
having it
Starfleet
today. I know.
bandana.
He's being daddy's boy today. I don't know why. Okay, so here we go. Onwards. Oh, no, I've realised this time. Oh, no. Sorry, it was the end of the act. I didn't realise. My bad. It's the end of the act. It's question time. All I had was a
assume
picture
that's a
focusing in on Picard's worried-looking face. So, there you
go. I assume that's a horrific wig, but that can't be a real person's hair, can it? All right, so...
It's probably one of Beverly's old ones that they've massacred.
That's possible. It looks more like Halloween $30. It's crap. Anyway, what sorry, I've gone the questions the wrong way around. Excuse me, 1 second.
I've seen people.
Okay.
It's just body volume.
That's a bad week. Okay. Which side of the base is the firestorm approaching, or dire storm as I wrote it? A north, B south, C east, or D W, which means west, because apparently I didn't copy and paste properly. And the bonus question. And the bonus question is: what rank is Nella Darren in this episode? I say in this episode like she's in any other episode, but you know what I mean.
Well, I've got a better question for you. What rank is that transport?
I don't know, spell it. I'm going to abbreviate.
I
can't see in that.
Well, Riker says, Ensign, keep a continuous look on all the way team members as his voice is sort of trailing away. But then just as the camera sort of pans around to Picard there, she's got 2 pips. She's actually a lieutenant, even though Riker addresses her as Ensign.
Oh.
She could have been recently promoted. It happens. There's also a scene later in the episode where
it might be a bad wig, but I personally I'm down with it. I'm down with the fringe and bob combo.
It's a little bit Lita Alexander-ish.
It's my jam.
I'm feeling it though, because I've seen people who have hair like that.
Yeah.
That was actually their hair. So I don't know if it's just because I grew up like in the 90s and 80s.
I'm an 80s and 90s guy, you know. I love a bob. It's great.
Because that hair is straight up that VO5 volume commercial. Yeah. And everybody has...
That's it. Yeah. That's it right there.
And she just probably had it colored.
Oh, look at Ruth just typing out Lieutenant Commander in full. And just full of admiration right now.
Did you know Dominic Keating, who played Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, he made enough money off Vidal Sassoon ad that he bought a flat in London off it. And in the ad, he keeps saying salon, because he's like, oh, you go to, it's hair like you went to the salon. But in America, they say salon, to the point where Saturday Night Live did a couple of sketches making fun of his pronunciation. That's how big a deal it was at the time, completely pre-Enterprise. But it made him enough money, he bought a flat in London. So, you know, if I owned a flat in London outright, I think, you know, I'd be set for life pretty much. The rent on that would cover any of my expenses.
I can see everybody said A for the start, so my guess of C was wrong. So this is bad for me. I now need that extra I need my bonus
You
spin.
need a spin of the wheel.
Yeah.
I have one more,
Yes,
one more goof or
Okay.
a potential goof, but they're sending these away teams down, and it's quite a few people into a firestorm without any safety equipment, gloves,
Just wearing their
goggles,
pajamas.
respirator, air supplies, heat resistant
Personal
clothing.
shields.
There's absolutely zero protection for these people.
Isn't there?
Seems a little bit reckless, right?
And like
A little bit.
speaking on that, they caught that guy, Kivo Foch or whatever his name was. He had a personal force field. Why is that not something you would have in Starfleet? A personal force
time.
field. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, I was like, I don't feel like that technology is hard. Even if you had like a backpack power supply to keep it on, you would think that they would have that.
Yeah, they should have a fallback position of some sort of pod with an additional thing, but yeah, I guess they didn't.
I like the ones in June where
Yeah.
they're like surrounded by like those like hexagonal shapes, you know, like square shape in June.
But even without the fancy tech, like there's got to be some heat-proof overalls or something.
Yeah, even
You would think that they would have like a spacesuit, like something pressurized.
Yeah.
Like if they were out of space, out of space station, you would think they would have something that would withstand
even
star.
a Formula One suit would have given them something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just a thought.
you just got to imagine these are super space age fabrics that are like, you know, impervious to anything.
You know, it doesn't explain how they breathe, but yeah, it was
What it is actually that works is they don't have any red suits, so they're all very confident that they don't
that's
need
right.
anything else.
They don't.
Like, is yours red? Nah, man, I'm not red. Oh, we good. Let's go.
That's why they made Red Command. They just stay on the bridge. They don't go anywhere now. They send the yellow and blues out because they never fail. Then everyone comes back. Yeah, answers to the questions then, Sean.
Yeah, so it was A North, and she's a lieutenant commander. Although she's referred to a commander in dialogue, but that's normal. In military, normal military parlance, or what's the word?
Title. It's the rank title.
Yeah, but if you're a lieutenant commander, you refer to them as commander unless you're being a dickhead, which is the proper name, lieutenant commander. There's a name for that. I don't know. Procedure? I don't know.
Shall I spin the wheel?
Yeah,
Please,
you're.
Is there another scene?
anymore,
Because I specifically saw her outfit with 3 solid gold pips.
I think that might have been the catch of the light. No, she was lieutenant commander.
Damn it.
Okay, because all right, maybe I saw her wrong.
Oh, Mass just snuck right in there.
For the win. For the win.
I'm still 10 points behind Stuplum, but I have snuck up into second place now that you've dropped back a little bit, Monty. In fact, Tubby's overtaken you as well now.
Oh my god. It's all gone wrong for me this evening. It was going so
We're
well.
still in 10th place, but she's only 20 points behind you now.
Well, we still got one more question to go. You never know. It might be a good one.
Yeah.
Make it a good one, Sean. Okay.
I'll do my best.
So,
I mean, I already wrote it, but I'll do my best.
Final act of the evening. As they beam down to the outpost, or beam up the outpost personnel, Riker informs Darren that they only have 9 minutes. Oh no. They activate the deflectors and all is fine. It looks good. They fine-tune the settings and it's all looking good. Well, can I just say that firstly, Planet Hell set there with the map paintings and whatnot's looking good. Looking good in this scene.
Yeah, fantastic.
The ledges of Planet Hell looking really fine. I have to say though, it is helped by the recompositing digital effects that they've done for the Blu-ray version. The fire does look a lot better than it did in the original. So, looking pretty good. There we see the force field holding it up. That's good. Crusher reports in that they have injured people on board. They were all the injured people on board now, but there's still about 100 colonists down on the outpost below. A little note from this scene. I think they were trying to show that it was a different transporter room to the normal one because the transport console's in the wrong place.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, fair play.
It's weird. It's weird to see. Never before in any Enterprise transporter room have we ever seen the console to the left of the transporter pad like that.
And I think the Enterprise has something stupid like 22 transporter rooms.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And they need 10 minutes to get up 73 colonists, and then they're uploading them 6 or beaming them up 6 at a time. So yeah, the maths there don't quite add up.
Beam them all up at once. You can literally transport a colony with this bloody thing. You got transporters in the cargo bays, in the
oh yeah, and the shuttles. Bays. Yeah. The shuttles go into low Earth orbit and beam them up. Yeah, no problem.
This thing has got such transporter ability; it's unreal. And,
sorry, yeah, they had 20 transporter rooms on the Enterprise. I've just looked it up there. So 20, and they get 73 colonists, and it took them 10 minutes. And each and the one shot we see is like 6 or 7 of them coming onto the board at once. So, yeah, I don't think the writers thought about that one too much.
But they did say that the ionization was negatively impacting the transporters.
Oh, so, they do mention that. They do, yeah.
But they do. But I'm like, they have all those shuttlecrafts. Really?
Yeah.
Even the shuttlecraft
they should definitely.
They can fly them into low Earth orbit.
It's going to be marginal.
So maybe
they
the
time the low Earth orbit.
They could only configure two transporter bays to work through the ionization, and they shown Geordie was in one with it around the right way, and they shown Crusher in the other one. So they moved the console just to
the door behind his back, and they have it out of frame slightly. Yeah, that doesn't add up right.
But it also doesn't from a practical point of view, because if you imagine all the transporter hardware is off into the corridor on the right here, if anything goes wrong and he's got to run to the isolinear chips, like he's as far away as the actual like transporter hardware as you can possibly be in this room with a control panel in his way. So that
and you would think that they would have 2 people there.
Yeah.
Not one person over there, but you'd have an engineer or somebody. Well, I guess that's why Geordie's in the other one.
Well, they say it's the safest way to travel now, don't they?
Evacuation.
I think Geordie says at some point in Relics or something that because of like quadruple buffering or something, it's now the safest way to travel, and they never have any problems with it. But then just tell Riker in a few episodes' time, anyway. So yes, Crusher's reported in there's still 100 colonists on the planet. Picard then listens into, he's kind of eavesdropping into a report from Commander Darren to Riker, where she reports having problems keeping the deflectors connected. They are going to have to stay behind and calibrate them manually. They don't know if they'll be able to survive the storm. Riker gives Picard a report that they still have 73 colonists to evacuate, and Worf says they've only got 4 minutes till the storm hits. Picard comes into the front line to tell the team that it's imperative that they man their posts until the colony is completely evacuated. So Commander Darren informs the rest of the perimeter team that they're all screwed. No, she doesn't. She really like to. And then she goes and takes a sneaky look over the wall. And there she is, climbing up. She takes a sneaky look over.
Maybe I'm a very morbid person, But I would have looked at that and gone, wow, this is going to be an awesome way to die. Look how like fantastic that looks. How many people can say, I just died in this ionic storm and basically hell swept over the planet and burned me alive in the matter of a second? Because, I mean, everybody's got to go. But this is like, how did you go? Yeah.
I don't know. People say being
nobody
alive
gets
is one of the
because
worst things worst ways to go. So I don't think I'd necessarily be looking forward to it. But
I think I'd be like Roy. I think I'd be like Roy from Ted Lasso. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, nobody would say it because they're dead, but the other side of it is like, yeah, we all have to die. So, you know, if you can go out, you know, protecting people, why not? There's no better way to go, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah, you're standing there holding up the force field, and then you see this spectacular show of like.
I'd still probably have a phaser set on high for just about before it's going to hit me and like shoot myself.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than
alive. If I'm being melted alive, it's fairly bad.
Not good.
Yeah, it does take long. You think they would just have like a pocket like something spray, hypo spray? They're like, all right, everybody, hit your hypo spray. Let's take a nap.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They're like, we don't need to be here.
It's turning into a morbid stream. On the bridge, Worf and Picard are watching the graphic of the storm hitting the perimeter and are probably thinking, oh, doesn't look so bad from up here. It's nice being a red shirt, says Picard. In the sick bay, Will has arrived and he's being treated for his wounds, although it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him. It's like not even got any dust on him or anything. He's just like perfectly fine. He reports that they managed to save everyone, all of the colonists, and most of the perimeter team, though teams 3 and 6 are still missing. Riker understands that Duran was in team 6. Picard's like, you've done this on purpose, haven't you? You didn't like us spending more time with her, and you made her disappear, didn't you? It's all your fault. No, he didn't say any of that, no. But I'm sure a little bit of him behind his little scowl there was thinking it. What he actually did was he went back to his quarters and he had a little sit and think, and then he closed the lid on his flute box as if to say, where's the picture? Oh, there it is. Well, that's the end of that joy. But then Worf reports in the survivors have been found and are beaming up. So he goes to meet them in the transporter room. At first, none of them were Duran, but then he's about to leave when she does appear on the transporter pad. And here she is arriving on the transporter pad. Her hair is not quite as well made up as it was before. He is initially pleased to see her, but then she blanks him as she's taking an injured person to sick bay. Later in his quarters, Duran tells Picard how they escaped. 8 crew members were killed, including one of her own team, Richardson. They used the deflectors to create little pockets of shields, and they stood in each one. Richardson's failed, so all they could do was stand there and watch him burn to death. Initially, when she saw the storm coming, a bit of her blamed Picard for putting them through this position. But then all she could do was worried about Picard himself, who would blame himself when she died. And that it was his own fault. And she was worried about what that would do to him. Picard admitted that when he thought she had gone, that he just shut down. He thought about how his music would never bring him any joy again. But then when he saw her on the transporter pad, he realised that he would never make that choice again. I thought that was a bit... Whilst I could see that was how the scene played out when he closed his flute box and that, I could think that, you know, of the enormity of what's happened, losing 8 crew members and the love of his life, his one thought was, well, I'm never going to enjoy music ever again. It's just a little bit like, oh, that's all he worried about. But I see what they meant, and I saw where they were going with it, but it just did strike me as a little bit like funny, I guess. Anyway, she agrees to apply for a transfer. They're never going to make it work. And Picard says, well, maybe we could see each other on holidays, etc., you know. But Duran's like, yeah, okay, like that will work. Anyway, she makes him promise to never give up music, and Picard agrees. They have a kiss and a cuddle, and then she leaves his life forever. And that's the end of the episode. So on that rather sad note, we've got a question time.
I was too busy hitting on Klingon extras, which, let me tell you, is risky business. Till that makeup comes off, you don't know what you're getting.
They talked to the doctor and wanted another opinion. Or something. Anyway.
She put a pork chop around my neck so the dog would play with me. Yeah, so how many colonists need to beam out when Picard asks? A, 47, B, 73, C, 74, or D, 37? And the bonus question is, which of the 6 away teams was Darren on? So there were 6 of them. So the answer is anywhere between 1 and 6.
I'm going to have to guess both of these, I think. Oh, this is not going to be good, is it?
For that storm effect, Dan Curry and Ronald Moore created it by spilling liquid nitrogen onto black velvet, draped over a table, and then pointing an air hose at it, which was then enhanced by computer and digitally painted into the background of live action. Pretty cool. Oh, we've got 5 B6s already. I haven't even started. I've hardly even started on my trivia. This is one of the first instances where crosstalk is heard from communication channels. So you've got Darren and Riker talking about the fact that, they how many minutes they had left and all that sort of thing, and Picard's listening in to them talking to each other. So it's not something that often happens. It's normally direct person-to-person communication. I thought the sudden, the way that she's sort of stood there and she's perfectly clean and got a normal uniform, and then you cut back a couple of minutes later and she's got all these dirt smudges on her face and all these massive sweat stains. Yeah. It's like, what did she just do? Like we cut away for a couple of minutes and she's been rolling around in the soil and pouring a bucket of water over her head.
And all the people had exactly the same dirt stains and exactly the same locations on them.
Yeah.
The other problem I had with that is it was quite clearly a right-handed person who made the smudges, because it was all on the right-hand side of her face and barely a little on the left. So it was really obvious. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
It did make me laugh. What
Katie
else?
Fitness is in chat, pressing the chat icon buttons, because we're getting lots of hearts pop up.
Yeah, let's shower everything in hearts.
Hey.
Oh, I did some happy faces by accident.
Engagement.
I almost accidentally reported a message for promoting terrorism. I didn't mean to do that. I shouldn't press buttons randomly. Oops.
Brilliant.
Backed out of that one. So there's a bit of a numbers problem with the people that are still stranded on the planet. Did anyone notice that? So Picard said that there were
12.
2 of the teams still left. Yeah, there were 12 people plus Darren, which was 13. But then Beverly went down to assist and Riker went down. So there were more people in general, but they got everybody out except 2 of the teams that were 50 plus Darren.
Yeah, 3 and 6, yeah.
5 people, right, that were left down on the planet. And then when you go to the transporter room, there are 6 people that walk past Picard that have just been rescued that are all covered in dirt and sweat. And then there's Darren and what's she called? Deng. Is it Deng?
Yeah.
So that's 8 people that they've then taken off the transporter pad who they've rescued, even though there were 5 that were missing. And then in his log, Picard says they lost 8 crew members.
Yeah.
It's like none of the numbers
None
added
of the
up.
numbers add up.
Oh my doppelgangers! We got an alien on board.
Yeah.
Well, I can forgive her as a supervisor. I can forgive her as a supervisor being an extra person that wasn't included as one of the teams. You know, she was with Team 6, but she was
extra,
overseeing
so there
it
was
all.
2 teams of 2 people plus her, which would have been 5 people. But then they
Yeah.
got another 8 people that apparently lost 8.
No, I take your point. Yeah, it's not quite right.
That was it.
Right.
So everybody said B, 73.
That is right.
And 6.
I know both of those answers are correct. So it's B6. So I'm not going to make up any points on anyone because my only hope now is to get this spin, or I'm doomed.
Yep. So it's Stu Plum for the win, unless I win this spin, in which case me and Stu Plum joint win. So I hope
crossed.
I don't, because I want Stu Plum to win. Mwah, 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 Daddykins.
Oh,
no.
God. Don't believe it.
Oh, no. Sorry, Stu Plum.
What a Maz. What a Mazaroon.
Oh, the
disaster
bingo
for me in
mics.
the
Oh,
end.
no. Stu Plum doesn't do bingo, so that's not going to help him either.
Yeah.
We should just forcibly give him a bingo card, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You'll have to, next time you're around watching the Grand Prix, you'll just have to go into his email account and register him for some.
Yeah, I'll just have to register him a bingo card. But, right, that was the end of the episode. That's the end of the quiz. That's the end of the bingo. As they tot things up, I will just grab my TNG score sheet, start thinking about what you give this episode out of 10, from 0 to 10.
And I'll give some general reception commentary as well, if that's okay. So Jerry Taylor was pleased with the episode, saying that there was true substance and genuine warmth in the relationship. It had an honesty and simplicity. Wendy Hughes was a wonderful actress, made the whole relationship believable. You could really believe that Picard would have been enchanted by her, and that the musical nature of their relationship kind of carried them away. Robert Weimer, is it? Agreed. Said the script was a pleasure. They had
not Robert Wiener,
really
as I said at the beginning.
Wiener. We had really turned on performances, he said, but I don't think he means turned on in that way. If we had only moderate performances, it would have fallen flat. Michael Pillar remarked, it's a sort of brief encounter on the Starship Enterprise, and Wendy Hughes was perfect casting. You really had to have magic to make it work. And Brandon Bragg, I believe the concept was flawed as it did not have significant science fiction component, but praised Rene Echevarria's contributions to the script, saying that there's always something about his writing that's very touching, finding genuine emotion.
Brandon Braga loves a bumpy alien of the week, doesn't he? And someone's brain being sucked out or something like that. So he didn't like the lovey-dovey story. I have to admit,
it's really difficult because we love Star Trek for its episodic nature, but because it was a self-contained story every week, that's why you get this trope of meet somebody and instantly fall in love, because it's not really something that they can cultivate, with an extra character over, a long period of time, because it was just so weak to the next individual stories. So
I think that's good though, because that would be really boring. It becomes like Neighbours, doesn't it? Or, you know what I mean? It's just
but it's like meet, fall in love, and you roll your eyes. You can't fall in love in 5 minutes. It's just it seems a bit.
Yeah, but it's not 5 minutes. It was over the process of this.
In this case, it was done well.
They did it
but
right,
we've seen it before. where it's been like a little bit unbelievable or corny because it just seems way too quick. But this was one of the few times where they had the right build to it and the right script and the right casting, you know, that it actually worked.
I felt the pacing was good with it. As you say, it didn't feel like it was forced or like happened within 5 minutes. And the fact that they were age appropriate, that was really, you know, and the fact that they got a decent actress in, because she held her own. I mean, they kind of like maybe overdid it with Riker, you know, trying to show her as a strong commander against, you know, which is fair enough. But yeah, no, I thought it all worked really quite well.
Yeah. I had like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Were you? I thought this episode was really, really dense because it's one of those ones that I feel aged inappropriately because now it's in a situation where they're showing a main character, but they're always showing like a not so healthy female dynamic where it's like the man in power, but the secretary is the one who's going to lose the job if it doesn't work out. Like, why this was her dream job to get on the flagship and everything, and because it's not like they were like fiancés or anything and dramatic, and it's not like they ended on a bad note. Why did she have to leave the ship?
Yeah,
because she's not the manager.
I know, but I didn't feel that she had to leave at the end. They could have just gone, we'll just keep it civil from now on.
Yeah, and then
you want to do your job, you want to do yours, we'll just keep it like that.
And then they've got this thing where we're at the end, I was on the brink of death and I'm watching people dying in front of me. And the one thing I thought about was how this would hurt you. It's like, no, that's not your train of thought when you're facing death. And when you're watching a crew member burn to death, oh, I'm just so worried. The captain, he's going to blame himself because it is his fault for sending me here.
Yeah.
So it's no, it's not his fault. You're doing your job. He's supposed to send you there because you are a Starfleet member. So it's like, it was the dialogue I thought was very, at the end. And not, I mean,
he said like he couldn't be in the position of really captaining her anymore is basically what he said, which is I think why they said, well, one of them has to kind of leave. But you know, she could have said no, in which case it would have made things awkward and then things maybe wouldn't have ended so amicably. But you know, even though she was the woman, it's like he's been captaining this ship for many, many years. She's been there like 2 weeks. So you know, from a pure longevity perspective, it would make more sense for her to take the break than him. But yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, but why did she have to leave? Why do you lose your job? Because
he said he wasn't capable of making command decisions relating to her.
That's his fault. Then you're inappropriate captain. It means you failed as the leader. I don't lose my dream job because you can't do your job. Like, why was it her?
Which is why I'm saying she could have said, well, that's your problem, asshole. I'm not going to capitulate. And then things wouldn't have ended well between them. But I think she wanted to keep things civil. So that's why she sort of took the hit, got away from that situation.
Like, ultimately, in any organization,
it would have always been hanging over her head as well. You know, if I was her, I'd have probably wanted to just make a clean break as well, to be fair. But
I guess so.
I'm just saying.
Excuse me,
in any
organization,
out,
please continue to talk amongst yourselves.
Hmm?
In any organization, if you disagree with a manager, and even if you get the right side of them, like you've proven they've done wrong, you're the one get moved, not the manager. That's the way it goes.
But I mean, they executed it flawlessly, so it wasn't like.
You all right taking yourself there?
And at the same time, he could have just gone.
No.
I would appreciate it if you just stayed in stellar cartography. Because, like, why did she need to be on away missions anyway? You're in stellar cartography. While you're here, you don't need to be deployed. Like, stellar cartography doesn't need to be on away missions. Really.
In general, no. But she obviously had, an overall experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just didn't sit very well. And even from a military point of view, it's like, what? No. Who? Does anybody in the military on this writing group?
No.
So
Well, it's kind of like junior doctors. You know, they you know when doctors join.
Sorry, just to jump in a minute.
Just,
Sorry, just going to jump in. Maz, Chris is going to be getting a phone call from Smiler Rainbow. Is he free at the moment?
I think he's just gone to bed. I heard him cleaning his teeth.
Oh, he's kind of needed if he's available. I know he's in bed, but if he is available, she needs taking to the hospital. He may be on
call. I don't know, but yeah.
She needs a lift to the hospital.
I can hear him talking.
Oh yeah, he's answered. Right, okay, there we go. Fine, we're all sorted. That's all fine.
And the other point about this episode that I did like was these small implications that you could pick up if you'd been paying attention to Picard's character arc. He comes in and he's responsible for the death of Beverly's husband. So he's got that over his head. And mind you, he's got this intimate relationship with Beverly while this is going on. And, you know, they've decided to be, you know, will they, won't they, but they still respect each other's boundaries. So he has to see that in the face, that she's sidelined on that, even when it comes to romance. Secondly, he is Locutus of Borg. So all the trauma he has from literally watching, you know, the Battle of Wolf 359, he's getting to watch and experience the destruction of Earth. So he's had like a lot of psychological bombardment, even though he's stoic and strong. And then again, he gets thrown onto this 30-minute planet ride where he's lived his entire life, where once again, the entire planet is going to die. Everyone's going to die. My wife's going to die. Everyone's going to die. And he comes back, and you can imagine, okay, even after all that, if he's recovered from all of that, he's like, oh, I meet this really nice lady, and it's just not that simple. So him having a very strong reaction and just going in his room and just sitting down was very well done, because I think that was correct. Like, it's like, fuck me. And every time he's got this opening, he's just getting like a stab in the side, and this probably would have been like one of the more later bits of him just locking himself off because he can't be open to it. And you see it throughout the rest of the series and even in the movies that Picard never actually hooks up with anybody. No. And he's got this lasting trauma. And I appreciated that they intentionally referred back to his time where he just lived his life and watched everyone he cared about die. And then to come back into this time, oh, I didn't really live that life, but I did though. So now he has literally 2 lifetimes of perpetual loss. So that was it.
Yeah. Just that, you know, it's nothing traumatic. Smiler Rainbow has just got a what do you call it?
Contact lens?
A contact lens has flipped around and got stuck at the back of her eyeball, and she can't get it out. And and so she's going to need medical assistance to. It's gotten right back there. So yeah, she's going to need medical assistance to get it out. She can't drive. I've been drinking wine, but luckily, KD Fitness, Ludacris, has once again donned his red cape and is going to be rushing her to the hospital. So, yes, well done.
He's already left the house.
Nice.
Well done, our
I
hero,
wore
Chris.
I wore contacts for years. Thankfully, that never happened to me. But yeah, it can be awkward to get something to the odd corner of your eye. Yeah,
I think Vicky's worn contacts pretty much most of our 20 years that I've known. This is the first time this has happened. just happens to be tonight. Yeah, there you go. But
well, I was wearing contacts, and I got up to the 30-day and I was going for a job in what was the prison service or something, and I needed to not be wearing contacts, so I got the surgery to not wear contacts, but then didn't take it any further, so that was a bit pointless. But anyway, laser eye surgery, so I don't wear contacts anymore.
Right, here's our sheet for season 6. Lessons is there, ready for the input of the scores. But first, we got the quiz scores.
Yes. So, Stuplum and Maz, joint first position.
Ooh.
So, obviously, with 19 points to split between us, you round up, that's 10 points each, which is rather nice.
10 points each. My God, you're already on the same points. So,
so we stay on the same
146
level pegging.
Yeah, you watch your pace.
And then we've got Tabby next in third position with 8 points.
158.
And Monty Ban
Me?
next in fourth position with 7 points.
So that's 149.
Yeah, you ended up only 20 points ahead of Ruth, who's in fifth position with 6 points.
6 points, so that's 153.
And then we've got G-Star, who got 40 points. So he's in sixth position with 5 points on the board.
26.
And Smiler, who won a bit on the bingo, gets 4 points.
Smiler Rainbow gets 4 points. Hey, she's on 22. So actually, there was no change to any of the positions this week. It's as it was, and in fact, Tabbykins has extended her lead by a smidge to 5 points. It's really, really close at the top.
Thank God.
There's only 8 points that cover the entire top 3, with Maz and Stuplum nipping at the heels, just a few points behind. So yeah, the top 5 are pretty close. Pretty close. Now, Mr. Tabbykins the Beard in a distant fifth place for getting some bingo points. Well done, Mr. Tabbykins. Doing very well. Doing very well. So, what do we think of this episode as a score-wise? Let's give it a score. One other thing I was going to say about this while we're just getting our scores together. It's one of those episodes where, for me, personally, it was like watching it again for the first time. Like, I was sure watching it that she was going to die, but I don't know. I just had a feeling, she's going to go to this thing. She's going to, and then when she survived, I was actually surprised. I don't know. I must have seen this episode 10 times, I guess. But
I saw this episode quite a few times when we were younger because
the tune,
what's it called? Unexplained Paradox or whatever. G-Star just really loved the piano music on this, and I learned to play it, and we sort of did little recordings of it and stuff like that. So it's a fairly well-known episode for me.
Like Brannon Braga, I like the aliens shooting each other and phasers and big ships blowing up, and I like the action episodes. I wasn't too fond of the. You
like big ships, then you can't not laugh.
No, that's true. Yeah, give me a.
Well, you won't like this week's episode.
But
walks in with
it's
a phaser
one of
in
those
face.
things.
Oh, Wookie.
What?
That's nasty.
A young lady from Venus, whose body was shaped like a captain.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Do you know
just
Sylvester
because
McCoy is not his real name?
I do love that clip where Data does that, because that's one of the things I think an autistic person really appreciates. Just the kind of like cringe things that we think are interesting, and we don't realize it until long after we've said the joke, and we're like, "What?" And everyone's like, "No."
Okay. Just wait and give me clean air for like 10 seconds.
There was a young lady.
I think Sean's going to score 7.
Whose body was shaped like
Nice splice. Nice edit.
Yeah.
How long did that take you, Sean?
No, that's just two separate clips. They just line up well.
Yeah. Right.
We can
has
see
everybody
your
got their
paddle,
paddles?
Sean.
Has everybody got their paddles ready? Are you ready for paddling?
Sorry.
Okay.
Ready for
5,
paddle time.
4, 3, 2, 1, go! 7-5-7-6. Kind of split-ish. Definitely.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of data in
Six and a
this.
7 in chat.
7.
I gave it a 5 originally, but I upped it to 6 because I was like, it was a well wrapped up story,
7.
so it wasn't just meh.
Sorry, what was the
Mad
audience?
Rams Duplum.
What was the audience score? Mad Rams Duplum.
Well, the audience score has now changed, so Wookie's just put in a 4.
He's giving it a 4.
So that changes it to 6 for the audience.
6 for the audience. Yeah,
I was kind of between a 5 and a 6. It's like it's a Picard episode. I think the extras were good. I think the emotion in the story and the build of it was well written, but I'm a musician and a bit of a purist, and there were just like that keyboard and like the weird hands, and there were just too many aspects of the musical side of it that was just too wrong for something which was supposed to be focusing on music. Why didn't we get at least one musician to consult on the props and stuff? It's just
yeah.
That's the
kind
reason
of
why
like,
I marked it down a little
how
bit.
did they manage to miss that?
I thought it was really dumb because they actually had a piano for the concert scene.
Yeah, I know. They had a piano on site.
Why wouldn't you just look at that and see what it's supposed to look like, right? I mean, it's still, there were just pictures of pianos anywhere or everywhere. I just don't know how they could have gotten it quite so wrong.
Well, Google image search just wasn't the thing back then.
No.
It wasn't, but I mean, still.
In LA,
you have the entire lot. You had a piano there.
In a bloody studio, Hollywood studio, that have sound departments and things. You're trying to tell me within Paramount they couldn't find a keyboard? Like, that just sounds ridiculous to me. They must.
So I was just applying my elitist, being a pianist snobbery to Docker Point.
I would further agree that back then they had live studio orchestras. They've done away with them the last year or two. This idea of having 30 or 40 people orchestrating a show, even something as small as Family Guy, they've just stopped doing it. They just they use synthesized replacements. They've just completely removed it. But back then, they absolutely had 30 or 40. They had like a 40-piece orchestra on the payroll doing the orchestration for all the works.
I think, to be honest, the scoring here comes out at around a 6, just over a 6, I think 6.2, which puts it on the low side for this season. I mean, it's still above 5. I mean, it's above average for a show in general. But I think for a season 6 episode, it is a 1, 2, 3 joint 4th lowest, I guess. But I think that's probably about right. As I said, I think it was a generally good episode. But as Tavikins has pointed out, there were some weak elements to it. I like the fact that they went on the planet. I know it's Planet Hell, dressed up and whatnot, but there was some drama. There was some special effects.
Were good.
The effects weren't too bad. But yes, the door should have been locked, Wookie. I know. If it wasn't for that, the plot wouldn't have happened, would it? It would have been a normal day on the Enterprise. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, I forgot my last. What was it?
The only thing I think is like, again, it unlike the flute and that episode, this one never featured again. You know, never came up in another episode. I don't believe was ever mentioned. You know, that he had this love of his life at this point. You know what I mean? It's just one, almost like a throwaway episode, really. Even though this is probably the biggest proper romantic affair that Picard had in TNG, really.
Yeah, that
aside
healthy,
from the whole
with a healthy, balanced person.
Sorry,
that was healthy and with a balanced person.
Yeah, it wasn't like an alien probe manipulating his mind or a rogue
going back into the past.
Yeah, or going back into the past, or a rogue
timey-wimey malarkeys.
A rogue
banging a 17-year-old
archaeologist.
Crypt robber.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Wasn't a grave robber. Wasn't no. It was just it was a proper, healthy, grown-up, normal. Probably one of the best ones. Yeah, and again, never mentioned again.
No, I did not. I don't know if it was just me and I've already got it in my head. I did not like how much she looked like Beverly. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you don't cut your shit out, no, you not gonna parade this duplicate of the chick that you should be having a relationship with up in front of Beverly's face. Be like, for real? For real?
Go on.
I know you got a type, but damn.
I think that's what they were trying to get at.
I love that.
He had a type.
Yeah, I actually love that. Yeah, I really enjoy that. I think I don't think they were doing it on purpose. They were kind of setting something up that obviously was picked up in Picard season 3. Yeah, they could have done more with that, but they didn't do enough with it. But yeah, I like that little bit of bitchiness.
Yeah.
Open doors, open your mouths. No, what? How did soak your mouths?
What he's saying is that she should have had the doors locked from the start, and ever since then he couldn't get on board with the episode. But I'm like, if she'd had the door locked at the beginning, there wouldn't have been an episode. And then he's like, oh yeah, but the other door not shutting again later. That just adds insult to the
Yeah.
I had this when I was watching. I had this very Lower Decks moment where when the music was playing in the Jeffrey tubes, that I'm thinking, oh Lord, this can go raunchy Lower Decks where it starts, other sounds come in, or they could go, do you hear that? Oh crap, stuff like this is happening all the time. Red alert! So we don't know what the hell's going on. You hearing stuff, but I don't hear stuff. It just seems like one of those crazy adventures where something is wrong, but it seems normal, but it's very wrong because it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Well, there we go. There's our scores. And yes, congratulations to Tavikins for extending a lead at the top of the quiz championship for this season. Well done. Chief Sean, do you know what it is, or does anybody know what the episode is next week? Well, I say next week.
Yes.
Actually, it's not next week. I just want to remind everyone that we're taking another week's break next week. It's half term, and I'm down the holiday home. So we'll be away next week again, unfortunately. So unless the other guys want to do it on their own.
Monkey.
Well, it's called The Chase, which features Salome Jens, who is better known as the female founder. It's kind of a mystery where they go around the universe, and there's a spiral of planets investigating the DNA, trying to figure out an ancient puzzle.
I will say, Sean, have you been on the rum this evening?
No, but this is my second bottle of wine because I'm not working this week, so I don't really give a shit.
Oh, right. I get it. Okay. I was curious. It was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't have to work tomorrow.
Fair enough. Fair
I've
enough.
dropped a link in chat. You don't have to play it. It's actually a McDonald's advert, and I don't really endorse McDonald's. But when Sean was saying earlier about, live orchestras and stuff, it just reminded me of an advert I'd seen this week, which made me really chuckle. But yeah, I don't know. It's optional, but it involves a live orchestra, and I was just like, "This is one of the maddest adverts I've seen."
Am I allowed
yeah,
to play McDonald's adverts? I don't know.
well, it's an advert. I don't think
Let's
anybody's
do
going
it.
to do you for
We're
showing
not,
an
we're
advert.
not endorsing
right?
McDonald's here, but we're going to play a
I'm
McDonald's
not
advert.
endorsing them. It's just a really fun advert. If you can, I don't know if you can make it so that Sean and Tammy can
You want
hear
to make
it.
it... okay, hang on.
Well, it's kind of the sound's important. Sorry to make
If I don't share it in this way, guys, they won't hear it. So
yeah.
hopefully you'll.
And it's
hear
designed to be looked at on a phone, which is quite interesting. You don't often see things that are specifically designed for a phone.
Hej, goedemiddag. Die Maistelburger. Kijk, de Maistelburger. Ja.
Lady with red hair, what is your name? Yes, I'm talking to you. Yeah, hey, hallo. Mijn naam is Jane.
Oh, that must be really cool. Very good.
That's pretty cool.
That was
Very
really fun.
It did make me chuckle.
Yeah, very good.
Wookie's asked if we're allowed to just have us guys online and we just talk about Trek and sci-fi. I'm
No,
up for it, but
you could do next week. You could always just go on here and press the go like. Oh no, we'd have to. I'd create another. But we can discuss it offline. But I can always set up StreamYard for them to just go live. Yeah.
I don't think it would work as a Monty Zone, but maybe as a Friday night. You know, not the Monty Zone Friday night, but a different Friday night.
Well, funnily enough, on another topic, it's supposed to be the Monty Zone next week, but again, I'm not around because I'm away. So I'm currently talking with G-Star. He's thinking about doing it on his own, so he might need some help in the studio. So if he decides or is available to do the Monty Zone on his own, he's going to be looking for people to come along and support him on that rather than him just talk to himself. So, but we haven't decided on that. He's either going to do it on his own or we're going to put it back a week to the week after, which is what we did last month.
I don't have any plans next Friday if you need me.
Yes, well, I'll let him know that. For the same thing. It won't be quite the same, but it'll just be like straight from StreamYard and just a chat, which, to be honest, for YouTube, is perfect. I just like to overcomplicate it because I'm me.
I mean, if we wanted to do that sort of thing, because we have sort of talked about that before, I think we could do something to fill the gaps, but I don't think like just a general free-for-all chat. We'd have to have some sort of topic or some sort of structure.
Yeah,
but,
whatever.
We can talk about that.
I know it's a bit.
And decide to do something.
I know it's a bit late in the TNG review show run now, but I think I will do it at the end of the season. After the season 2-parter, the next week we might just have a season in review where we don't talk about a particular episode and we just have a general chat with a glass of wine and look back at our best bits of the season and just have a general chat about season 6 and what we felt about it at the end. And do that for an evening.
We could have what was your favourite episode? What was your scariest episode? What was your funniest episode? And then talk about it through kind of phases like that.
So be an interesting thing to do. Yeah. But so unfortunately I won't be around next week. But it just wants you coming back for more, doesn't it? Absence makes the heart grow fond.
I'm already getting really excited about, when we move on to DS9. I'm probably going to have to buy a new uniform. Because obviously Tabby's binging DS9 at the moment, which is quite exciting. And no promises, but we went out to dinner on Sunday with some of Chris's friends who I found out are major Star Trek fans, and I just had no idea. So I told them about my YouTube show. They're both subscribed. If you got a couple of subscribers on Sunday, that might explain.
Yeah, we're up to 515 now. Yeah.
And they were both going on and on about how they love Deep Space Nine so much, and because these are quite close friends of Chris, and they were saying, "Oh, you should really watch it. You should really watch Deep Space Nine." TNG, sort of a little bit aging now, to sort of younger viewers. But Deep Space Nine, you'll really like that. So I said to Chris the next day, expecting him to go, "No, I was just humoring them." I said to him, "So after what Jordan and Darren said about Deep Space Nine, are you thinking about giving it a go?" And he went, "Maybe." So
excellent.
We might finally get Luda watching an episode of Trek.
Ludicrous watching Star Trek.
I was unbelievable. 12, 13 years, never thought this would happen.
Hold on. I have an audio clip. 1 second.
Grab all you want, but don't get between me and the blood wine.
What? I love that episode.
Cisco
makes an amazing Klingon. But
yeah.
Sorry, we don't want to do too many spoilers for
Tabby still has 3 or 4 seasons to go. Don't be spoiling it.
It's just Avery Brooks just commits 1,000% to a character, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a monster, isn't he? He's great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's what makes Cisco like one of my favorite characters. We're not discussing that now. As Wookie said, that can be for a general debate episode later.
Well, judging by a current number, it's kind of around April, May. We're gonna be done with TNG.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
Sometime after Easter next year, we'll be transitioning
pretty much
over to Deep Space Nine.
I'm loving our Gypsy Shaman right now.
Did I know 3 years ago that 3 years later we'd still be doing this every week? Never thought I'd be doing it, but there you go.
Have you
never know
enjoyed
where we'll
it?
be in 3 years' time. You never know. We might actually finally get to be monetized, as it's taken us 3 years to get to 500.
Well, yeah. I mean, you need another 1,000 viewer hours. How many viewer hours have we got?
We got about 2,000. No, we need another 2,000 to get monetized. We need 4,000. We're at 2,000.
You need another 1,000 for the chat.
We need another 1,000 for super chats. Yeah.
So Wookie, if you've got nothing to do with your computers, just put some of our episodes running all the time.
Please.
We need 1,000 hours to get special chat thingamajiggies.
Maybe you haven't seen some of the earlier episodes and you'd like to review them again. Please go back.
And see how terrible they actually were.
Do they have to be sustained hours? Like you have to stay above that threshold always afterwards, or is it just meeting that one?
It's cumulative hours, isn't it?
It's within 365 days, so within a rolling year. So as the days passed, they drop off the back. So it's got to be sustained. Yeah,
that's trickier then.
Yeah, it's trickier. It's tricky. Yeah,
it's lovely. I don't remember when I got on with you guys for the first time. Has it been a year?
It's definitely over a year. Yeah, it has been a year.
Over a year. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have celebrated our Tavi-versary and our Sean-versary.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and.
It's around the same time.
We'll have to go back and look at those dates, and then we can celebrate those dates in future.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say that was one of the best moments ever. You guys have no idea, because I'm here in Norway and there are no Star Trek fans anywhere. So I was just stuck in this void and I was really pouty. And I'm like, Oh, well, I guess it's just going to be me nerding away on Memory Alpha and just sitting here by myself looking at like old review shows of something, and everything is stuff people did 6 years ago. And I'm like, I'm late as fuck. All my TNG geeks are gone. And then
Bit
this
late
one
for the
live thing
party.
comes on, and it's like,
These
and
people
then
are
you
doing
guys
it.
are, and it made me so happy.
Well, I will say, if you move to Germany, the Germans, for whatever reason, love Star Trek. So, yeah, you probably should have moved to Germany. Too late now.
And I don't want to learn German.
It's the same language.
No.
The earliest post view is 6th of July 2022 that I can find where you're there as a host. So yeah, I think that's where you start.
When?
Yeah. 6th of July, yeah.
6th of July.
Which one was that?
So,
Yeah.
American Independence Day, pretty much, almost. We should be able to remember that, right?
The first one I believe I was on was the 27th of July. So yeah, we've hit the year mark. And then some.
We're 1 year old.
Yeah.
When was our
How
first one?
are you getting that information?
I went back through the old streams and I just looked at the thumbnails to find when I could see our faces, basically.
Oh, Mickey's still with us. Thanks, Mickey. Congrats on your year.
Oh, I see. Maybe, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to work it out myself.
So I'm not new to Star Trek, though.
Mickey was originally watching TNG Nude for the first time when we started our streaming shows. I'm just wondering if he continued watching it or not. I know, obviously, you haven't been sort of on as much, but did you just binge them all, or did you stop? Just interested to know how your Star Trek journey has gone or ended. Sorry, carry on, Monty. What were you saying?
Reunion. I've got back to Reunion. I don't know when that was. But yeah, I'm just... is she Legacy? Oh, no, Reunion. I think Reunion is her first episode. It's funny because I can see you guys like all commenting in the episodes before that. So you're building up to joining. But I think Reunion was your first episode.
I can definitely tell them did say I'm wearing like a bad cosplay, and yeah, I soon upgraded. So yeah, it was definitely the first, if not the first, like the second. So yeah, definitely around then.
June the 29th.
Yeah,
June the 29th, 2022. So yeah, you've been on the show now for 1.25 years, nearly 1.5 years.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So Mickey says he's still watching a few each week. So you might have surpassed what we're on now, but yeah, if you get to the end of them, Mickey, move on to Deep Space Nine. It's amazing.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Mickey, quick question: will you be on Fortnite tomorrow? Tomorrow evening? I'm going to be on Fortnite tomorrow. Definitely.
Nice.
I haven't been on for a few weeks because I've been away and things, and life gets in the way. I guess you're all on like 150, 200 level now, but I'll see how far behind I am with you guys. But yeah, I'll be streaming probably on the Montalban channel tomorrow night. Fortnite playing. Yeah. Oh, is it Halloween? Is it? Oh, it's scary Halloween in Fortnite now. Oh, gosh. Well, I'll be checking out Fortnite Halloween on the Montalban channel.
Did you see there was a
downloading?
Did you see there's a Fortnite Star Trek release? They're having like a... Yeah, I saw it the other day and I half forget it, half remember it. Sorry, yeah, I can't quite remember, but they're doing a special Star Trek release of Fortnite.
That'd be great. I'll be all over that.
But I think it's like Kelvin versus something. It's not quite right. Hold on.
Yes,
Yeah.
guys.
New York. Sorry, go on.
No, go on, Sean.
New York City Comic-Con weekend, also the launch of Star Trek X Kid Cudi Mirror Mayhem, described an out-of-this-world music and gaming collaboration within the popular online game Fortnite.
Wow.
God, I'm mangled.
The
Yeah,
words
so
came
there's
out.
kind
I'm
of
not sure
a...
about the order, but they're there.
Yeah. I'm done. It's my week off. That's my excuse.
Yeah, no, good on you, Sean. Yes, definitely, Mr. Tavykins. Looking forward to you coming over next year to celebrate Tavykins' 2 years on the show, and yeah, she. I guess when you're here, you'll be hosting the show live in the Montalban studio next to me. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
You have a panel.
Yeah. We'll have to talk dates and
we might be on D Space Nine by then. D Space Nine season 1.
At the moment.
Yeah, by Easter we should be on D Space Nine. Yeah.
Hold on, Maz is talking.
At the moment, I'm working a bit part-timey, and I'm trying to go to even more part-timey for at least sort of 6 to 12 months, just because I just need a bit of a break away from my computer, I feel. So if I have some long weekends, I may pop to
Norway. Oh, she's looking to pop to Norway.
Okay.
That'd be very exciting.
We will show you around. You won't need to do anything. Let us know, and we will get it all organized and show up in Oslo or wherever, and just show you everything to see and get you all sloshed up and well fed.
Perfect.
Very cool.
Right, well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Thank you to everyone in live chat. Thank you to Wookie, Mickey, Mr. Tavykins, Ruth. Thank you to Ruth for coming on. Thank you to Karen for popping by. The Unexplained Files and the Unexplained Paradox, both of the Unexplains. They don't explain why they're here, but they came along anyway. And thank you to Stu Plum and my poor loving wrench, Smiler Rainbow, who has ended up in hospital.
To mention who, yeah, bless her. Not to mention who popped along P. Stewart and Brent S. in chat.
P. Stewart and Brent S.
I don't even know how we can check if it was genuinely them or not. There's probably some super sleuthing we can do online to see, but I can only assume it was not, but who knows?
Crazy things have happened in a live stream.
I mean,
on the
they both
Montalban
posted
channel.
just next to each other, so it would make sense if they were together at the time and looking at something, or I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
I got a pop star watching me play Fortnite once, which was a surreal evening.
Yeah. As I say, that's the closest we've come before to a famous person on our chat, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's she called again?
I can't remember what her name was.
She's that one from that
the Disney
Nickelodeon
Channel.
Or
Yeah, she played
the Disney
twin.
Channel.
Yeah, she was in all those Disney films. I can't remember her name.
Is it somebody love or no?
She played twins in a Disney Channel program. I can't remember.
Yes.
You mean Lindsay Lohan?
No.
Her name starts with C, I think.
Yeah.
Can't remember. No, it's not that.
Karma Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon.
No, you're right. It is
Cameron
something. Yeah,
Cameron something.
Can't remember.
Cameron. Anyway, she came.
Dove Cameron. Yeah.
Dove
it wasn't
Cameron.
Love. It was Dove.
For whatever
Dove
reason,
Cameron.
yeah, joined my live stream while I was playing Fortnite. Probably the biggest moment of my streaming
The real
career.
Dove Cameron.
Yeah, it checked out as well. It was definitely Dove Cameron. It was a bit of a surreal moment in my streaming
It was so funny
career.
because your daughter wouldn't believe it was her, would she? She's like, nah, I wouldn't engage with it. And we were like, it's actually her. And then later she was like, oh, I wish I'd like messaged her or said something, but she just totally didn't believe it.
When you click on her name, it goes through to her YouTube channel. It was like definitely whether it was actually her, but it was definitely her account. But yeah,
I'm
looking.
looking at.
She was talking about how she was traveling and some of her friends and things.
Yeah.
It seemed like her. It didn't seem like a official, comms person. It just seemed like her. But
yeah. She was giving some little streamers love and ended up on my stream for a little bit. It was crazy. Anyway, Mickey's going to get Daniel O'Donnell to pop by to represent Irish music.
Why not?
All is welcome. All is welcome. And of course, thank you to Katie Fitness, Chris, for coming along and asking about liquid nitrogen and Terminators and being a hero for my wife. So many thanks to Katie Fitness this evening.
Oh my God, I've only just realised I didn't have all chat up. I might have missed a bunch of stuff tonight.
Oh, did you have top chat, did you?
Yeah, I did. Hopefully I didn't miss too much.
There we go. So thank you, everyone. And the beard, Mr. Tavikins, I think I said it. Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time as I'm enjoying myself down the holiday home next week with the children. And see you then. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.